Want to welcome you inside Mingus Marauder Gymnasium for our wrestling. We're getting a chance to call wrestling Phil Catafo alongside state champion and former Mingus Marauder wrestler Jared Tavasi. Jared, you got to be excited to be back in your own stomping grounds.
I'm absolutely excited to be back in here. I love being here, watching wrestling, being around the sport. It gets me all pumped up.
Come back, we're going to talk to Marauders head coach Clint Mcken and get him all fired up for the start of this match. Don't go anywhere, right here on Verde Valley TV.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles, and go Marauders.
Balancing your family, finances, and future is a lot of responsibility. Let Jennifer Griffin and her team at State Farm help. Jennifer Griffin is an Arizona native and a Mingus graduate as well. As a third-generation State Farm agent serving the Verde Valley in the same Cottonwood Main Street location for over 35 years. Jennifer Griffin offers all of State Farm Insurance's lines, specializing in auto, home, life, and small business policies. Jennifer Griffin and State Farm Insurance, here to help life go right.
If you haven't been to Number One Sandwich Shop in Clarkdale, stop in to see why they are number one. Their patented broaster chicken is a true one-of-a-kind pressure-fried roasted favorite. Always cooked fresh, allow 20 minutes to cook. Wings, pizzas, subs, burgers, and more. Don't forget the Thrifty Heart ice cream, 14 rotating flavors served in a cone, cup, shake, float, or a sundae. Located in Clarkdale at the Roundabout on 89A heading up to Jerome. Open daily from 11 to 7.
Back up top the gym here at Mingus Union High School. Phil Catafo alongside Jared Tavasi. We are joined by Clint Mcken, the head wrestling coach here at Mingus Union. And Coach, it's nice to talk to you again. I got a chance to talk to you during football season, but now it's wrestling season.
It is. Yep. It's winter. It's getting cold. That means it's time to wrestle.
It's definitely getting cold outside. But Coach, first match of the year. You got to be excited. And are you excited, I guess is my first question.
Yeah, we've been excited since February of last year, and we've been working hard, and we've got Snowflake. They're a good, solid team. They're battling Kingman right now, so it's going to be a tough match, both of these, and we're ready.
Are you excited to finally have a working mic? Because last time you were here, I had to hand off my headset.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I hope it works.
Oh, what are you looking for tonight? I mean, Kingman and Snowflake, two out of the White Mountain teams, or Snowflake is, but not Kingman. But nonetheless, two teams that usually you don't see normally. But what are you expecting out of Kingman and Snowflake?
Well, Snowflake has a full team. They've got a great football team as well. So a lot of their upper weights are football players that just went deep into the playoffs. And our team right now is kind of a mixture of newbies and veterans, and so it's good for our newbies, for our rookies, and they're kind of getting thrown in to the mix. We're missing quite a few starters, and that's unfortunate, but it's good for the new guys to get a chance.
Is there anybody out there that we should be taking a look at?
I think the key match of Snowflake and Mingus is going to be our 126-pound Keen Totticini from Mingus and Crew Perkins from Snowflake. They're both returning state placers. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Jared, do you have anything for Coach?
No, I was just wondering about, I know we got a couple of people that are going to be freshmen that are starting varsity today, and do they have anybody that they're going to be looking at, or any state placers they're going to be going up against?
I think Kingman's got Snowflake from 160 up. Has some really solid wrestlers, so I can't wait to watch our 220-pounders battle. They're Ryan Griffin from Mingus. Really I can't wait to watch him. It's his senior year.
Yeah, we got a chance to see Ryan during football season. Plays defense and offensive line for the Marauders. A big kid, very big kid, and now you got him wrestling.
Yeah, great.
It's a little unfair.
Yeah, no, I think it's perfect. He started his freshman year, and the way he's grown since 9th grade. Now, physically, he's about the same size, but as a wrestler, he's just grown leaps and bounds. So.
Well, Coach, we know you got to get down there and talk to your team and get ready for your first match. Want to wish you good luck. Thank you for coming on, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get you ready for the matches coming up here, right here on Verde Valley TV. Don't go anywhere.
Rags Roofing, the roofing experts. A family-owned business with over 50 years of roofing experience. 3 generations specializing in all types of roofing: metal, tile, shingle, flat, roof coatings, and fascia metal. Rags Roofing, the roofing experts for residential and commercial roofs in the Verde Valley. Call 928-649-0537. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Mitch and Nate have you covered at Rags Roofing in Cottonwood.
2 things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
People often refer to Larry Green Chevrolet as the people place. Keeping that reputation is a priority in the community and with every customer that comes through the door. Larry Green Chevrolet, we're better and we'll prove it. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, you'll find our selection extensive and the sales team professional and courteous. Visit Larry Green Chevrolet just off Highway 260 next to Walmart or LarryGreenChevrolet.com.
Want to welcome you back up top the stands here at Mingus Gymnasium. Philip Catappa alongside Jared Tavasi. It's always nice to talk with Coach Clint Mcken for his first match of the 2019, I guess 2020 wrestling season. Like you said, the weather's going down. The wrestling is starting to come up. And, I mean, they got a great squad this year. You were talking about Coach Clint Mcken's son coming back from an illness and wrestling today.
Yes, I'm very excited to see Isaac wrestle this year. Last year he had some personal illnesses going on. I guess that something was going on with his lungs, and so his freshman year got really interrupted. But his 8th grade year, he was not only a state champion, he was the outstanding wrestler at the junior high level. So him coming up into high school, having a year more maturity, he's thickened up a little bit. I'm really excited to see what he's going to be doing as a sophomore this year. There's several guys that I'm looking forward to seeing. The other one's Kai Miller. Kai Miller was a state champion his 7th grade year in junior high, and then his 8th grade year he took 3rd in state, losing to only 1 kid in the state. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to be doing as a freshman this year. I want to see how this plays out. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really exciting. You know, like I said, I'm very new to the wrestling world. You, of course, are you hold records in the state. You're a state champion here at Mingus Union. Your name is very well known in the entire Yavapai County. So for me, it's very exciting to get an opportunity to watch some wrestling live. And what are some things we're going to be looking for?
We're going to be looking to see whether they're going to be able to dominate through pinning. Honestly, most duels are decided by who pins more and instead of just wins. It's got a lot more team aspect to a dual tournament because it's a head-to-head matchup between your guys at each weight class. So we're going to be looking for pins. We're going to be looking to see who's going to be staying in positions. I want to see who's looking solid at what weight classes. That way we can see if there's any shift going to be happening halfway through the season due to weight situations. Those are the things I'm really going to be looking at today. I'm just excited the wrestling started and that we're going to be able to see some good matches today.
Now, of course, you would be excited. Like I mentioned a couple times, you are a former Marauder wrestler, and you did wrestle here, and actually did wrestle with Coach Mcken as your wrestling partner.
I wrestled with Coach Mcken as my wrestling partner my freshman and sophomore year of high school, and we actually won state together in 2001. And then also Mario Chigoya, he's one of the other coaches for Mingus, and I wrestled with his son, Andreas, since we were in 6th grade. So I know these guys personally. What a wonderful coaching staff we have here. It's amazing. We're blessed to have them. Tons of the returning state champions are still involved with the program and still involved in our community. I mean, we've got Chavez and you've got Lore. You've got a whole bunch of guys that keep coming back and giving back to the program.
What's something that's been very impressive for me was the women's wrestling team. We were watching them early on, and Mingus's girls wrestling team was absolutely dominating. They looked great.
They're going to dominate. We have Danny Schultz, and Danny is a former state champion, homegrown from this program. I had the pleasure of working with her over the summers, a couple of summers, and watching her just develop into an awesome wrestler and an amazing coach. And her girls program is going to explode. It already is. Like you said today, they're going to dominate the state. And Danny dominated the state in girls wrestling, and she's going to continue that. She's got a fantastic outlook on the sport and on life. She's just such a well put together individual. She's going to be successful at whatever she does.
Well, great leadership breeds a great team, and like you said, Coach Danny is one of those coaches who just knows what they're talking about, and you can see it out on the mat.
She's developing a culture.
Yeah, exactly.
She's developing a culture of winning for her girls.
Yeah.
And that is, like you said, that's unstoppable.
Yeah, it always starts at the top with the coach. You got a great coach, it kind of trickles down, and you got even better players. And like I said, we've seen it on the mat. But, you know, the Marauder ties always run pretty tight. Of course, Jared is a former Marauder, and when I asked him, which headset do you want? You like blue or red? He immediately said, give me the red one, because he's not wearing blue.
No. We've got the red all the way through.
Yeah, and we've definitely got the red all the way through. Right now, out on the mat currently is Kingman and Snowflake. They are still completing their match, so we're kind of waiting for them to get finished, and then the Marauders will take over, and I believe they'll be taking on Kingman first, and this is going to be exciting. This is my first experience bringing you back to your old stomping grounds here at the gym. It should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. This is going to be a great matchup. Can't wait to see how we do against Snowflake. Kingman, unfortunately, has not as many people to fill out the squad.
That is right.
So where we do have people, I want to see how they work together, but I'm more excited to see about the Snowflake matchup where we have a full lineup, they have a full lineup, and I want to see how our guys do.
Well, we're going to see what happens here in a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we should be getting ready for Marauder Wrestling right here on Verde Valley TV. Don't go anywhere.
If you want freedom and adventure, stop into one of Galpin Auto and RV's convenient locations. With a large inventory of both new and pre-owned autos and RVs, they have something for most every budget. You'll find a relaxed, no-hassle way of doing business in both Dewey and Cottonwood. Their knowledgeable staff will have you on your way to your next vacation in no time. Galpin Auto and RV in Dewey and Cottonwood, a name you can trust for over 30 years.
You dream it, they build it. A. Earls Construction is focused on your remodel dreams. Transform a TV room into a real entertainment area. Turn the mundane into incredible and add to the value of your home. Have the kitchen you need or the kitchen you've always dreamed of, both inside and out. A. Earls Construction can make your remodel ideas reality. When you're ready to make your house your home, count on A. Earls Construction. Licensed, bonded, insured, and experienced.
When you buy a vehicle at Hyundai of Cottonwood, you'll enjoy thousands of miles. With America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles, driving a Hyundai will give you peace of mind. Yes, there's something for everyone at Hyundai of Cottonwood on Rodeo Drive, above Larry Green Chevrolet and next to Walmart. Hyundai of Cottonwood. New thinking, new possibilities. A formula for happy drivers.
Want to welcome you back atop the stands here at Mingus Gymnasium. Phil Katapa alongside Jared Tavasi, and we are getting set and ready for Marauder Wrestling. It is the first match of the season. We talked to Clint Mcken. We talked about some of the players that we are looking forward to seeing wrestle today. We've got a lot of wrestling going on. We've got 3 rounds. Currently, round 1 is going on with Kingman and Snowflake. So I'm being told by our producer Ryan Nichols that this is an exhibition match between a Marauder wrestler and a Kingman wrestler. And I mean, a preview right here of what's to come for the rest of the night.
Absolutely.
Trying to get that pin. Looking for the
Suck
pin.
it up.
Get those shoulder blades down. Still waiting for the pin. Well, how about Kingman fighting?
Oh, Kingman's going to keep fighting off their back, but I think they're going to keep getting put on their back. Like we were just talking about, that's one of Danny's wrestlers.
Yeah, this is the girl. This is one of the,
Danny's coaching her wrestlers properly. We call it teeing up. It's when you get chest on chest and you end up making your body into a T with their body. and it puts the most weight on their chest to get their shoulder blades down. Danny's excellent at coaching her girls to do that. You saw a perfect pinning technique where she kept walking towards the head with her feet, got her knees down low, her hips were low, kept the center of gravity low, but at the same time maximizing the weight on that chest.
Well,
it'll wear somebody down. Even if they try and fight off of it, it keeps their body in perfect position to be able to counteract anything that is getting thrown at them without endangering themselves.
Well, and you saw that a lot. She's just trying to stay on top of her to get to that T position, like you mentioned, with the chest on chest and getting that pin. And she did get the pin.
Absolutely.
And the Marauders won the exhibition. And like we said, this wrestling program here on both sides, the boys and the girls, coached extremely well. Clint McKean and, of course, Coach Danny.
Clint McKean's been in the sport since he was in 7th grade, and I was in 6th grade, and so I've watched him come all the way through. He was actually the second most winning wrestler in the history of the state of Arizona.
Yeah.
And
still carries a lot of state records.
He does.
As does this man.
He does, and Coach Chagoya has coached multiple state championship teams, and we have a recipe for success here at Mingus that's been generational, honestly, and it's great seeing it come back and really develop.
Well, the school's been open for a while, so all you really have to do is kind of look around. You can see the banners and the constant state championships, the regional championships. Even out on the mat, you've got the state championships listed, a few of them. They're not all of them. Still missing 01 and 03, but you've got 6, it looks like 7, 8, and 9. So
those are team state championships.
Team state champions, okay.
And so we were actually the team state champions in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009. So it was a 4-year run where we dominated 4A in Arizona.
Right.
And then before that, we also have a couple of second state trophies. When we first brought a trophy home was in 2003, and that was fantastic. I mean, we had multiple third in states, but it was the first year we had been able to keep an entire team together, which is the most difficult thing because of injuries and just
transfers, kids graduating.
And it's a brutal sport. Honestly, not everybody wants to continue to get in a fight every day. And so it's a very difficult sport to maintain that level of success all the way through and not have people fall along the wayside or just choose to do other things with their lives. And so 2003, we were able to really put it all together and brought back our first trophy. And then after that, the junior high program that was going on at the time ended up being the fruit of all of that, where you ended up with 2006, 7, 8, and 9 just dominating the state. And then it became an expectation at that point. Well,
of course. I mean, you're constantly winning the championship. You go, okay, when's Mingus going to win another one? And, oh, wait, they won it last year and the year before. So, I mean, Coach Clint McKean, I mean, he's continuing that tradition, coming in as the head coach, building this program and continuing to keep, like you said, that tradition alive and well and building a foundation for the future.
Yes, he does. He does an excellent job with it, and he was working with the junior high. Thankfully, he's passed that over to me, and so now I'm working with the junior high and trying to make a feeder program where we're able to start people off right and be able to move them up and be able to have success at every level.
Well, the Marauders are currently out on the mat getting warmed up and ready to go. We're getting fired up as well. We've got wrestling coming up very, very soon. The Marauders will take on Snowflake, I believe, first, and then they'll take on Kingman. We've got a bunch of wrestling coming up, and when we come back, we'll get it started right here on Verde Valley TV. Don't go anywhere.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles, and go Marauders.
Balancing your family, finances, and future is a lot of responsibility. Let Jennifer Griffin and her team at State Farm help. Jennifer Griffin is an Arizona native and a Mingus graduate as well. As a third-generation State Farm agent serving the Verde Valley in the same Cottonwood Main Street location for over 35 years. Jennifer Griffin offers all of State Farm Insurance's lines, specializing in auto, home, life, and small business policies. Jennifer Griffin and State Farm Insurance, here to help life go right.
If you haven't been to Number One Sandwich Shop in Clarkdale, stop in to see why they are number one. Their patented broaster chicken is a true one-of-a-kind pressure-fried roasted favorite. Always cooked fresh, allow 20 minutes to cook. Wings, pizzas, subs, burgers, and more. Don't forget the Thrifty Heart ice cream, 14 rotating flavors served in a cone, cup, shake, float, or a sundae. Located in Clarkdale at the Roundabout on 89A heading up to Jerome. Open daily from 11 to 7.
This is a brutal sport. This is
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Hey, welcome back,
Hello.
everybody. On top of the gymnasium, Jared and I were just talking about, sort of breeding that new crop of players. Of course, Jared, I'm gonna have you step one more forward.
Sorry.
There we are. I know we're a little tight up here, but we're discussing off air about, Jared is the coach of the JV team. Of course, Clinton is coaching the varsity team, and Jared is kind of breeding that next crop of Mingus players,
Right.
and also trying to build a little bit of interest, not even interest, but just some kind of building that atmosphere of this is a good sport, you should be a part of it with your son.
Right. My son's only 4, but I'm actually the junior high coach. And so
sorry, that's a JV.
Right. No, I'm the junior high coach. And so I get to bring my son in, and he runs around during practice, and we have a club. It's not actually associated with the school because we have such a small community here. We have multiple small schools. So we don't have enough, we don't have a large enough junior high to field a team. So we started a wrestling club, and our club incorporates kids from Cornville and Sedona and Clarkdale, and we even have a kid that came last year from Payson. All week, his parents would drive him all the way down here throughout the week, and now he's actually living in Humboldt, so he's got his own wrestling program in Humboldt.
Right.
So it's really neat seeing the next generation coming up, and you see what they develop into, and that's why I'm really excited to see what some of the Marauders are going to be doing, because I don't get to come see the high school program wrestle because I'm always involved with the junior high, but multiple.
Well, a couple of these kids you've probably coached.
I have Anthony Isless. We've got Kai Miller, Coach McKean's son Isaac. I've got to work with him. Those are 3 just off the top that had great success in junior high. All of them were state placers. We've got a whole nother crop of kids that I think are going to be placing in state this coming year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what our junior high is able to produce in high school.
Now, you can see right there on the mat, the Marauders are getting warmed up, and I've kind of got a wrestling question for you. So you saw that Snowflake had just got done wrestling Kingman.
Right.
Is it better to come off of a match and then continue wrestling, or come off the bench cold and then go into a match?
I would always rather come off the bench warm. The first match of the year is the hardest match. You've got to go out there. You got to get the butterflies out because you're going out to get in a one-on-one sport. It's just you and that other person, and you haven't got the adrenaline pumping until just now. I mean, practice is great, but there's nothing like competing in this sport because all of a sudden your adrenaline's through the roof. It's one-on-one. You've got all the spotlight's on you right in the middle of the mat. So I like to get that first match out of the way. I want to get it done. I want to go out there, make no mistakes, and then I'm going to feel good about my second match coming up. So that's how I always look at it. When I was wrestling, as I developed through the years, I started getting to the point where I actually wanted to go and wrestle a hard match with one of my teammates within 10 or 15 minutes of starting competition because I want to get a sweat broken before I get out there.
Right.
I don't want any injuries, and I want to feel good and confident about myself going into that match.
I mean, I would assume number one, of course, is safety, and everybody emphasizes stretching before you start a match or any physical activity. So I couldn't agree more. You come in to the match and you're stretched, you're ready to go. You've done all this already, and now you're coming in. These guys, the Marauders, are coming in with fresh legs. Snowflake's already wrestled.
They've already wrestled, but if you look at it, practice is usually about 2 hours long every day.
Right.
And so about an hour and a half of that, you're going to be doing something very physically strenuous. About a half hour, you're probably going to end up with some sort of drilling or or instruction. But realistically, these guys wrestle for an hour straight. A match is only 6 minutes. So these guys they wrestle back-to-back matches every day in practice. It's not going to affect them as far as a dual setting where you only have 2 or 3 matches. Until you get about 4 or 5 matches in a day, you're really not stressing yourself that much. And so dual formats, I'm going to want to take it and get a good sweat going beforehand. I want to get a good match going. That's why you got all these Marauders out here drilling moves and everything.
Right.
Getting them sweat broken before I get out there. And Kingman's not going to be at any kind of Kingman or Snowflakes, they're not going to be at any kind of a disadvantage for having wrestled beforehand.
No, and if anything, they're at a more of an advantage because they've
Absolutely.
already gotten onto the mat. They've gotten an opportunity to throw bodies around and get going and get wrestling. And you can see some of the kids over there are still warming up. Someone's doing jump rope. The Kingman is starting to make their way out from the locker room, and you got to stay fresh. You got to stay warm as much as possible.
Absolutely. That's actually the hardest part is once you've gotten warmed up, staying warmed up and getting ready for your next match, because mentally you can you've had that high, you've got a crash time after that.
Right.
You have to let your body recoup.
Of course, you're not eating anything before the match starts because you have to do weigh-ins. So,
right,
you're maybe just pounding water, if that. Probably not even water.
Well, you have a 2-hour time period between when you weigh in and when you actually compete, and so since you have an hour or two between the two, you get rehydrated, you get some food in you, but you don't want anything too heavy because honestly, your stomach's probably not going to hold that down very well.
Yeah, having all that pressure on your stomach and just you're rolling around, you're grappling and
pressure on your stomach.
Of course not.
No, it's all nerves at that point. People say they have butterflies, but they're dive bombers before your first wrestling match. It's high adrenaline. It's intense. It's almost like going out and getting in a fight or something like that.
Well, like you said, they're essentially fighting each other out on the mat,
right,
and in a different context, of
right.
course.
Of course, it's a controlled setting. It's the cavalier form of the sport, but it really is strenuous on you mentally, and I've seen a lot of people try and eat too much, and it doesn't always go well during a match.
What was the usual go-to Tavasi pregame meal?
Go-to Tavasi pregame meal would be an orange Gatorade.
Okay. Why orange? Orange is such a...
No, because tradition. It never upset my stomach. It was bland enough, but at the same, it didn't have too much flavor. Definitely not going to be red because that just wouldn't look good coming back up. It'd look like blood. So, be an orange Gatorade.
Okay.
It would be a Nature Valley bar.
All right.
And probably some canned peaches.
Canned peaches. Okay.
Yeah, that was
just
sugar. A little bit of sugar. A little bit of just something that was a comfort food.
Yeah, no,
so I liked canned peaches and some Nature Valley bars for my first meal back, and that was kind of my go-to.
Whenever I played baseball and basketball in high school. So if we have not sent you down to the mat, we're going to send you down there now as we begin our lighter weight wrestling.
I don't know the kid from Snowflake, but I know the kid from Cottonwood. I've seen Noah Vega come out, and I know he's developing in the sport because I've seen him show up every time. And when you see a kid consistently showing up all the time, because he's always walking up to the parking lot as I'm walking down to coach the junior high, when you see a kid showing up as much as he is, you're going to see some good things happen with him. And I know that he didn't start until his freshman year.
Yeah, only 2 years.
And
this is his second year,
This is his second year, but, he shows up every day. And I think most success is due to people showing up consistently. When you have that consistency factor, it shows a work ethic, and that work ethic always translates into wins in wrestling.
Well, and in life, in general.
Life,
I mean, a guy like this coming into a fresh sport and never wrestled before. Of course, what a way to throw yourselves into the wolves with your first sport being wrestling. Or of course, he plays other sports. I'm not entirely sure, but. Like you said, we're going to get our first glimpse here at Noah Vega, a sophomore. It is his second season wrestling here at Mingus. He is his favorite subject in high school and school right now is biology. Currently doesn't have plans after high school, but maybe wrestling can be in this future.
Hey, we've had a lot of wrestlers from Mingus be able to move on to the next level and be able to wrestle in college for free, and so it's really exciting to see what happens here. But unfortunately, I'm
currently on his back looking for the reverse.
He's getting stuck. That's what it looks like right now, but hopefully he's able to find a friend, and be able to come back into the match. Yeah, there we go.
Right there back up top.
Now it's his turn to be able to start do something.
So Vega now the man on top.
A nice little tried to shuck by, but got lazy with his trail leg, and so he's getting caught again. One of the hard things is he has a short stature versus a long stature, and so they're going to have a little bit of a different style wrestling. And he's probably used to wrestling with somebody with a shorter body type in their weight class.
Okay.
A taller person is going to have a lot more leverage.
So you can get a little bit more lift.
He's got a lot more leverage. He's able to reach farther. That's how he was able to catch that trail leg. You have to really watch out if you're wrestling somebody that's taller or longer than you are. Make sure that your limbs stay back away from where they are. Because those hands can really reach out there and wreak havoc. So you really have to control them from their elbows. Keep that arm from being able to get into a good leverage position.
Vega
Same thing with their legs.
Well, currently Vega is on the bottom looking to flip back over. Of course, we apologize for not having the name of the the Snowflake wrestler.
Right.
Vega looking for a good reverse there by Vega.
Vega's got he had a free move right there because because the person in green locked hands. So he got a free point there. Right now we're a 6-point match. We have 1 for Vega, 7 for Snowflake as far as the score goes right now. So
still a lot of time. He's got 2 minutes.
He's got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Okay, I was wrong.
No, he's got 5 minutes left. He's got 3 periods to work with. And so there's a lot of things that happen within that long.
Vega looking to break out of that hold.
He's going to try and get hand control. You watch him try and get hand control. He's just got to try and get hand control without moving towards his back. Right now he's losing near fall.
Another point scored for Snowflake.
Yep.
So now it makes it 9-1.
Anytime somebody exposes their back to the mat, you'll see the refs start counting. And if they break a 45-degree angle with their shoulder blades, if he gets a 2 count, that's going to be 2 points. If he gets to a 5 count, it's going to be 3 points. And so those can rack up really quickly. That's one of the reasons that we avoid our back facing the mat at any cost almost. I mean, I'd rather give up 1 than 2.
Of course, or even 5.
Or 5, exactly. And so that's the key number. Noah needs to get it back down to a 5-point match. That way he can do some form of either a reversal to get some near fall, so a reversal in the near fall, or a takedown in near fall, which is your big 5-point move.
Looking for that takedown here.
He's riding top hard. He's getting good leverage on that arm. He's getting some pressure forward. Do we know what grade the kid from Sholo or Snowflake is?
Like I said, no, we don't have the rosters, unfortunately. So, but you can guess. I'm pretty sure you got 4 guesses. One of them is bound to be right.
I think you're right about that. He looks like he's got a little bit more of a mature body on him. So,
Vega trying to get the reverse, get back up on the scoreboard. 9-1 is our score currently. Snowflake leading the Marauders in this particular match.
Vega's getting that arm on his back right now. That's a really dominant position for a wrestler to have because it eliminates one of the guy's abilities. Oh, we got 2 near fall. He's going to get his hips up over the top. He's getting some good pressure on him. Now we're getting some near fall again. We're bringing it right back into the match. Oh, now he's on his back. We got to get. It's a 2-point reversal, and he's going to also have a couple of near fall coming up against him again. That's too bad. That's some of that younger, less experienced in wrestling. Not to bail out of that move. Like I said, it's always easier to give one away, or even as close as they are to the edge, he should be looking to get off the mat if he's feeling that reverse coming.
Right. So he can go out of bounds, so they can essentially just reset.
Exactly. A more experienced wrestler is going to be looking to find a friend, which is get off that mat, or to let him off the mat so that you can come back with a fresh start. I'd always rather give somebody 1 point than 5 points. And so we just had a big swing right there. He fought real hard. He got in good position.
Great reverse.
Hopefully he's able to continue that.
Vega looking to get his feet back on the mat. Here comes our timer. And there we go.
There we have it.
Valiant fight so far from Noah Vega. Doing a good job. Able to get his opponent up a few times. Almost made his way out of bounds to reset the match, but did a great job there getting the reverse and getting right back up top.
Honestly, he was on top. He had him on his back. He was doing everything that a person wants to do, and then just got stuck a little bit. Got his hips a little bit too narrow instead of spreading it out.
There we go.
But he's swinging for the fences again. He's got his opponent back on his back.
Vega with a pin.
That's what happens when you keep putting people on their back. You're going to have good things happen. That was an excellent example of just attrition. Finally wearing that kid from wearing his opponent down.
Noah Vega with the pin.
That is amazing.
What a great way to start out for the Marauders.
That is what happens when you continue to just have a battle of attrition towards everything.
Only 2 years of wrestling experience at the high school level. And Noah Vega coming up clutch.
Fantastic.
You pointed something out.
What?
You can talk to me.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. I've seen him wrestle before. Okay.
So
he came in over the summer. That's how I
Jared
recognize him.
is recognized the wrestler
Avery.
out there.
Right. Sorry, I didn't
No, it's all good.
I didn't realize that he was wrestling varsity this year. He wrestled for me in junior high, and he wrestled over the summer. So it's neat to see him coming back out. Here we go. We got a takedown and a reversal. We got an even money match right here. This is the hard part about your first matches of the year. Is honestly, you got to get all the nerves out. You got to get all the mistakes out, and so you're going to see some stuff get sloppy. People are going to give some back points away they shouldn't be giving away. Later in the season, you won't see a lot of that. You'll see that all get
shaking the cobwebs off, essentially.
Absolutely. They want to go out there. They want to make a big explosion, and instead sometimes you get a little bit too excited. You start showing your back to the mat. You don't step over where you should, and I don't know. It's a 2-point match. We'll see how Avery's ends up being able to do, but right now he's looking like he's putting it out there. I didn't realize what grade is he in.
You said Avery.
Avery, yeah. I believe that's Avery. The one, or Andrew.
Oh, Andrew Hayes.
Andrew Hayes. I thought
Andrew
his name was
Hayes. Freshman.
He's a freshman, yeah.
Yes, sir. We got a near fall for on the side of Snowflake. So that'll make our score 6-2 as Andrew Hayes looks to reset.
Okay, sorry,
That is Andrew Hayes?
Yeah, that's Andrew, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize, Jared. It's all good. I'm glad you.
My eyes apparently aren't as good as I thought they were. I was like, that's Avery. No, it's not Avery.
No, that is Andrew Hayes.
Okay. That's why I was surprised. I didn't think that he was wrestling at that weight. So that makes a lot more sense. Sorry, I was.
Again, there's no need to apologize. It's totally fine. This is your first time. It's all good.
It is my first time.
Yeah,
so
well,
this is exciting for me. I've never got to sit there and talk about wrestling with everybody.
It's fun.
It is.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I love this sport. This is, in my opinion, the best sport anybody can get involved in for young men or women, because you see them develop.
It's so primal.
It is.
Wrestling. Hayes looking to get back up on top.
Potentially dangerous. That's why that's why you have a timer go out there on the mat and actually physically touch the ref, is because his primary goal out there is to keep your two wrestlers safe. We don't like seeing injuries. We don't want to see people get hurt. We don't. The difference between pain and inflicting some pain and injuring somebody, and we don't want to see anybody get injured. Pain's part of most sports, but he's going to prevent injuries first, and so he has to keep his eyes there, and he'll interject himself into a situation if he sees anything start becoming potentially dangerous. It doesn't matter about score. Doesn't matter about anything more than keeping both of those guys healthy first off. Then we can worry about scores and wins and pins and everything else. But that's why his number one concern as the ref is making sure he keeps his eyes on his wrestlers. This is Kai. This is Kai Miller. He's
this is the guy you were talking about, Kai Miller.
Absolutely.
In the 120 weight class, the freshman, 6 years of wrestling, 7-time middle school, elementary state champ, 2-time national champ. He is a big football fan. Favorite subject is math, which is something I'm terrible at. But I'm also terrible at wrestling. But here, you talked about him in the pregame, that Kai Miller was somebody to definitely look out for.
Absolutely. Kai he has a tradition of success. He finds a way to win. He's going to throw people.
Already going for the pin.
Absolutely. Kai is going to be a dominant force in Arizona wrestling for the next 4 years that he's competing. I got the pleasure of coaching him in junior high for 2.5, 3 years, and you couldn't ask for somebody that works harder, has a positive attitude, never anything bad with him. Not one bad experience.
Kai looking for a good experience right now, up 4-0.
In his first high school match.
In his first high school match, back-to-back freshman.
Absolutely. Wrestling on varsity, this got to be nerve-wracking for him. His dad's in the stands. His dad coached him through junior high with me. Fantastic wrestling family. His older brothers all wrestled. So he's got a good tradition going on, and he's just going to keep finding a way to win, I think.
Miller up top now, again, looking for that pin. Snowflake fighting hard to get out of it. Seen a couple great reversals so far.
Mentally, when you put a person on his back a couple of times, it's incredibly difficult for that person to sit there and look at that scoreboard, seeing 7-0, knowing that he just got put on his back multiple times. And eventually, if you put them on their back a few times, they're going to want to get off that mat.
It's got to be a little bit, it's got to be a little disheartening if you're constantly on your back and you can't really get over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's getting him stretched out right here, Kaez. Oh, got his hips a little bit low. That's a first. Oh, there we go. Hips are back up. He's getting a good, solid grapevine situation right here. Guys, pressure on that man. That man's going to be feeling all the weight and a lot of strength going into it. So he just moved down 3 more points.
Wow.
So it's 10-0 right now, just getting dominated by a freshman.
Yeah, we're seeing it right here. Miller's been up top the entire time.
If you notice, Miller has transitioned from his attacks being up top to starting to ride the person's hips a lot more. He's starting to control those hips. He knows that he's probably physically not going to be as strong upper body as the guy he's competing with right now.
Assuming, of course, that he is not a freshman. Again, we apologize that we don't have the rosters for Snowflake.
But Kai's going to wrestle with his whole body versus his opponent's whole body. He's going to put himself in good power positions right there. And he's using his legs, not just his upper body, to be able to do that.
To flip him back over like he just did.
That right there's
Miller looking for the pin.
Beautiful dominant position from Kai. Like I said, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this state for
Just looking to get both of those shoulder blades down.
Even if he doesn't get the pin right here, he's going to have a technical fall right here, which will be a 5-point gain for Mingus.
There it is.
There's the pin.
Kai Miller with the pin, and another victory for the Marauders.
Simultaneously, he would have scored if he would have got off his back, that would have been a tech fall. So he would technically have pinned the person because he had a 15-point spread between the two wrestlers. And so it's a mercy rule. He would have been such a dominant force that the other person would have forfeited at that point. This is going to be Keen. This is going to be 2 state placers that are coming up. Keen's, I haven't got to see him wrestle. I'm excited to see him wrestle.
Somebody that Coach McKean was talking about.
Right. This is the matchup he was talking about between 2 state placers. He said this is probably the best matchup between anybody.
The senior, Keen Tachi.
What a great name.
Tachi. I know I'm saying that wrong.
One thing I'll say about Snowflake right now is they're fighting for head position, which is something that I do like to see out of a program. They fight hands. They're getting in tough. They're getting good head position.
You see him going for his legs. And those last 2 passes, trying to go. It's still going for his legs. Get him on his back.
Well, absolutely. Your normal way of taking somebody to the mat is going to be through going to a leg attack. More experienced wrestlers will throw on some upper body arm attacks and body locks and things along those lines, but you're generally generate takedowns, which is the first score going to happen in any wrestling match from leg attacks.
They are both out of bounds, so they will reset.
Right. This is going to be a good matchup.
It's currently 0-0, so we've got no score yet.
We've got some good exchange so far, but no score yet.
Keen getting his headgear set with Coach Clint McKean, and of course on the Sholo side as well, getting the reset.
He's getting reset because he's bleeding now, so it's blood time. In green from Sholo, he's got blood time. You have a limited amount of time to get blood stopped. Usually you can get that stopped no problem, but it's usually either a nosebleed or a cut on your face, something.
Well, again, safety obviously,
first,
and you want somebody who's bleeding out on the mat, and.
No. And the coaches will clean up any blood if it got on the mat or anything else. I mean, that's one of the good things about this sport.
We've got an exciting match so far. 0-0 is our score. We've seen a great pin at the 106 weight class with Noah Vega. And then we just saw one at the 120 weight class with Kai Miller, who we talked about, Coach Clint McKean talked about, you talked about, and we saw a great match, 2 pins for the Marauders.
Yes.
And again, it's a 0-0 score right now. Both teams looking to get on the scoreboard and control the match. And of course, I don't come from the wrestling aspect, obviously.
Right.
But I would assume if you're scoring a decent amount of points, probably looking to win the match. I mean, I guess if you get the pin.
Well, honestly, you're going to end up always seeing really strong wrestlers in pairs. So you'll see weight classes that are side by side with really tough wrestlers at them, or within one weight class, you'll see a stud at that weight class. That's because to develop yourself, you really end up having to wrestle with somebody to get developed into that quality of a wrestler.
Okay.
And so that's why Coach McKean and I were side by side in weight, and stature essentially since we were young. So I got to work with him, and the two of us together, we sat there and were able to win state together. Both of us won state in back-to-back weight classes. So we were able to we pushed each other harder than anybody else would because we had that drive.
Right.
And so you'll generally see studs on a team in pairs or in groups of 4 because they'll interchange with each other in that group of 4.
We got blood time again, just catching up everybody on the broadcast. Go right ahead, Jared.
No, so you notice that you had Kai right there, and then
Yes.
back-to-back you have a state placer, and then you're going to end up with the next weight class is probably going to have a really quality wrestler as well. And you'll notice on Sholo, you'll see that they'll have good quality wrestlers side by side or back-to-back because you don't get there by yourself in this sport.
No.
It is an individual sport. You do have to push yourself past what everybody else in the competition statewide is doing if you want to be the best at it. But realistically, if you don't have good practice partners that are pushing you, it handicaps you. And so that's why we talk about culture, and that's why we talk about practice partners being essential. And so when I was wrestling, I had to actually go when Clint left and some of the other guys left, I actually had to go out of state and down to Phoenix to find other people to compete with. And so those are some of the hard parts about this sport, is that you are looking for people to compete with. You are looking for to go compete with the best, to become the best. And even if it's people that you know you're going to end up facing someday, you're going to go and drill with them. You're going to go and try and push that person to be better too.
We are tied again, 2-2 now. Before that the blood time, we had 2 points on the side of Snowflake, and now Keen able to get 2 points of his own. We're tied at 2 for this match, and here comes our timer.
Now, Keen's using a technique called leg riding right now, and so he's going to put a lot of pressure on. It makes you use your whole body to fight his whole body, but he has to support your weight while he's fighting your body. So essentially, it gives him a 120-pound advantage, being able to put that kind of leverage
He's sitting
down
right on his back, yeah.
Right, and being locked in. And so more experienced wrestlers sometimes will employ that, especially in the lightweights or in the really heavyweights. Your midweight wrestlers have a hard time riding legs, it seems like. I think it's because I think their power to weight ratio is off. I don't see very many middleweights really riding legs as much. A
good takedown.
Not yet. No, you got to get 3 points of control. So
yeah, I meant more as the motion again.
Right. No, I'm sorry.
That's totally fine.
He's not scoring right now. But
because you're right. No, takedown is actually a point.
Right.
Yes, you're right.
Takedowns are 2 points. You got escapes are 1 point. Near fall are either 2 or 3 points. And other than that, you only have technical violations. And I mean, you have a reversal that's 2 points, and that's wrestling. It's a very simple scoring setup that can become chess. If it's a 6-minute chess match, really, because you have to determine how much you have left in the gas tank, how much you have physically, strength-wise, and Keen just went for a hip toss.
We had another blood time as well.
Right.
A little bit more bleeding coming from the side of
gentleman from Snowflake
yeah.
is definitely tougher than nails because he just used his head to stop himself from getting taken down off of a hip toss. So it might have rung his bell a little bit, but at the same time, he's going to be got to be a tough person to have that happen.
Keen looking to go for the legs. Almost out of bounds. Able to keep him there. There it is.
Oh, man. That was excellent wrestling. What I'm noticing about the Marauders is it looks like they have some really good lungs. So they've been pushing themselves, and it looks like they're being able to gain on Snowflake. Even though Snowflake's from an elevation, you start watching the guys from Snowflake putting their hands on their hips, trying to breathe a little bit harder. You notice when Noah started getting into the second and third periods, he really started being able to come alive, even though he wasn't as good of a technical wrestler.
And early on, he started from behind.
He started from way behind. And so he was able to use his physical conditioning to his advantages and put a lot of pressure on his opponent until he finally broke him and was able to pin him. And that's a mental break. It's a physical break that causes a mental break that allows somebody to actually pin you. You notice how Kai was able to put that his opponent from Snowflake on his back multiple times, but wasn't able to finish him off until he finally broke him mentally. When a wrestler looks over and knows that if I get off my back, I still lose, he was able to break him mentally because physically he's strong enough to stay off of his back.
Right.
He gave up, essentially. At that point, that's when Kai was able to get the 6 points instead of a 5-point tech fall. He was able to get a 6-point fall for his team.
5-2 is our score currently.
5-2. Keen's ahead. He's starting to put a lot of pressure on the gentleman from Snowflake. He's riding hard on top. Got a lot of blood time going on. It's hard in a chopped up match like this too to stay mentally focused into it, because you just want, as a wrestler, to be able to really start developing what your game plan is. You want to be able to start pushing people in a specific fashion to be able to have an end result you're looking for, which is your pin, especially when you have a more experienced state placer. You can see that he has a mental process and he has a physical process he's trying to develop into his pin, and he keeps getting stopped with blood time, and that's got to be very frustrating for him.
But a lot of credit on the side of the Snowflake wrestler for continuing to push through, because not only is he's got, more than likely that cut on his forehead is constantly getting rubbed against against Keen, his opponent, but also he's got blood going into his eyes and into his face, and he's got to keep fighting and moving as much as possible. He's getting blood everywhere, but he's doing a great job of continuing to fight in this match. It's still close. It's 5-2.
Oh yeah, no, it's 5-4 right now, because that was a beautifully executed reversal. Guy from Snowflake, he was able to come out there. Keen got his hips behind a little bit, didn't ride with it, and got reversed on. I mean, still winning by a point. You can tell he's got a little bit more of a what we'd call a funk style in wrestling. But I think mostly that's just going to be developing himself into being able to catch somebody on their back and create opportunities for himself. We got a 2-point match going on right now.
Very close. 6-4 now is our score.
Right.
As it just went out of bounds, so now they'll reset in the neutral position. Of course, Keen, a senior in the 126 weight class.
Love seeing that about somebody. He goes straight to the to attempt a takedown right off the whistle. No matter what, that gives him a mental edge. He's not backing up. He's not backing down. He's going in. He's attacking. Guy knows he's there to fight. Also, the referee, the other flip side of that is that the referee knows that he's not trying to stall. He's not wanting to back off, even though he's ahead. So he doesn't have to deal with a stalling call or anything like that. You can buy him the benefit of the doubt for a couple of seconds. If somebody starts riding hips too hard or anything else, the ref's going to remember that, and he'll realize that he's there and he's pushing, not just laying back. Sorry, but
you're fine.
You're
perfect. This is stuff I don't know.
He just threw both legs in again. So once again, he's riding legs, but he's riding legs with both legs, really putting the pressure to his opponent. It makes it really hard on his opponent, but he can score from that position. He's going to use it'll be a slow setup.
But again, he's right there, right on the middle of that part of that back, trying to control the whole body.
Absolutely. It's a good, solid, dominant position.
Keen looking to secure some more points before the match ends.
Oh, he's going to a crossbody. Okay, he's going to a crossbody. He's going to attempt to tilt this. Now, since you're early in the period, he's going to be attempting the tilt. Later in the period, I've seen people use that as a stall technique to be able to stay ahead and just be able to ride it out and still look aggressive. But instead, because it's dangerous when you start tilting people.
Well, then get right back on top of you when you were trying to get on top of them.
Exactly.
We're seeing again, Keen riding that backside.
He got a technical violation. He didn't switch his hands and let go fast enough, and so you ended up with a full Nelson. Like I said, safety first.
Of course.
That's what that referee's there. He's really controlling the safety on these matches. I love seeing that about a ref. I love seeing it where he's not letting people get into bad positions, and he's calling it quick, and he's
great
calling
reversal.
It solidly. And you just got a 6-7 match, just changed everything based on 1 point.
He's got a warning, grabbing that ankle, just like he said.
You pin that ankle up there for more than 5 seconds, that ref is immediately going to hit you for stalling. And second stalling call is a point. So that could really play in, especially in the third period with somebody. And so he pops his head up, turns.
Oh, now he's right back up top.
Yeah, he's got to get off that leg. He's got to get his opponent off that leg. He's turning back. Oh, man. He's got to kick it.
He got it out.
Woo!
Keen getting it out.
Sorry, that's just exciting when you get to see something like that.
8-7 is our score.
Beautiful setup. Both these guys, you can tell, know how to wrestle. Both of them are in good position. Keen's got a much better position. He just sealed the deal right there. That just sealed the match. He's got near fall going on. He stepped over with a grapevine position, which means his hips are pressed in. He's going to have a lot more leverage in that position. That guy knew immediately when that leg wrapped in.
And there it
and
is.
His hips were over the top. He locked in. Even throughout that match, you saw Keen really develop mentally. He just was able to really develop mentally and be able to start looking like he should as a state placer, because this is his first match.
Another W for the Marauders. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with this wrestling match right here on Verde Valley TV. Don't go anywhere.
Rags Roofing, the roofing experts. A family-owned business with over 50 years of roofing experience. 3 generations specializing in all types of roofing: metal, tile, shingle, flat, roof coatings, and fascia metal. Rags Roofing, the roofing experts for residential and commercial roofs in the Verde Valley. Call 928-649-0537. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Mitch and Nate have you covered at Rags Roofing in Cottonwood.
2 things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
People often refer to Larry Green Chevrolet as the people place. Keeping that reputation is a priority in the community and with every customer that comes through the door. Larry Green Chevrolet, we're better and we'll prove it. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, you'll find our selection extensive and the sales team professional and courteous. Visit Larry Green Chevrolet just off Highway 260 next to Walmart or LarryGreenChevrolet.com.
Welcome you back here to Marauders Gym. Philip Katafmo alongside Jared Tavasi, and we're taking a look at some of Jared's wrestling. Yeah,
junior high guys.
That's right. You got a couple kids down there. You're excited to coach this season. Some future Marauders, of course, possibly.
Absolutely.
But if you're just joining us, the 126 weight class just got done. We are now moving on to the 132.
This is going to be Isaac McKeen.
That is Isaac McKeen. That is Coach Clint McKeen's son, Isaac McKeen, a sophomore. 8 years of wrestling. Of course, his father is the head coach. A lot of long history of wrestling with the McKeen family. And right away, Isaac McKeen going aggressive.
He is a very physical wrestler. Isaac is not afraid to make contact. He's not afraid to put the hammer down on somebody.
Now, I would assume with the heavier weight classes, we'll see a lot more of what Isaac is doing, sort of those lifts and those really heavy takedowns, as opposed to more of the strategic kind of reversing, flipping through everybody. As you can tell, I'm a scholar in wrestling with all my terminology.
You will see that to some extent, especially when you start seeing people that have more developed legs. You see the people that are sophomores, juniors, and seniors, they have the physical maturity to be able to lift, move, stay in good position. Isaac just has incredible hips. He's always had great hips. He can throw. He can change levels extremely well. All of his basic wrestling skills are there, and he's like I said, he's just a very physical wrestler. You don't see the physicality all the time, but you will definitely feel it if you wrestle him, because he's always putting weight on somebody. You won't see his knees hardly ever hit the mat. He's making them carry his weight. He's making them feel his pressure. When he hits like a freight train.
He's got those arms locked up.
Notice he's even using his knee to be able to turn that guy's head sideways and get his neck in a little bit of a weaker position to be able to finish that pin. He's going to sit through right here. That guy's just waiting to get done.
And so you got all that pressure on your shoulders just getting pushed back.
Absolutely. The more he sits up, the more pressure he gives. Ooh, that was very merciful. Well done. Well done.
So McKeen able to get the victory.
That was a beautiful first period pin. Great to see him coming back like that. I know he had some ailments last year, and so it's really good to see him come back and look in that good a form.
Well, no issue at all with the lungs for Isaac McKeen. Did a fantastic job getting another victory for the Marauders, a state champ in 8th grade.
Yes. Outstanding wrestler, state champion.
Oh, yeah.
He was voted by everybody. Outstanding wrestler is voted on amongst the state champions by all the coaches in the state, and he was able to be, I don't know, elected the outstanding wrestler at the state tournament that year. And that doesn't just happen. That's because he was excellent.
Well, now we would get the 138 weight class.
Yeah, this is 145s.
So the 145 weight class. Excuse the 138.
They forfeited that weight class.
Right. I forgot that they had minimal players.
Right.
This is Hunter Robinson, a freshman. Hobbies including welding, drag racing, and taekwondo. And now wrestling at the varsity level. Only 1 year of experience, which I believe is this year.
That would be this year. I've heard good things about Hunter. I don't know him personally. I have never watched him wrestle. This is my first chance at getting a look at him. But from what I understand, his work ethic is incredible, and he's just got a lot of heart, and I can't wait to see what happens. When you have somebody that has good work ethic and a lot of heart, good things will happen. You'll develop over time. I mean, there's always going to be a learning curve, but people with a good attitude are
great reverse.
That was fantastic.
5-2 our score. Snowflake currently leading the Marauders. Hunter Robinson looking for another victory.
It's going to be a very getting people long and stretched out. Once again, employing some leg attacks. He's throwing the legs in. I'm liking to see the leg riding coming from Mingus. That's something that's a technique that I use quite often. I used it mostly as a breakdown after my sophomore year, but I'm seeing a lot of good leg riding going on.
You can see right there the Snow, able to get out of bounds, and they'll go back to the neutral position. A good fight so far from Hunter Robinson and his opponent.
One thing I really like seeing right now is the difference in body language right now. I see Hunter going out there. You can see he's eager. He's wanting to get out there. And his opponent, you can see he's kind of seeming a little bit sucked down. You can see him hanging his head, coming back out there because he thought that he had a lot more going for him, and he's having to fight through. I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just saying though that I love seeing the body language of somebody like Hunter, where he's coming out there swinging for the fences, not just waiting.
Robinson trying to stay on top. 2-5 is our score. In our 145 weight class, the Marauders have not lost a match so far except the 106. They've been absolutely dominant so far.
No change right there. Good way to hold on, way to recognize position. That was fantastic. Love what I'm seeing so far with our guys.
And the Marauders really doing a good job. Like I said, have not lost a match so far, except 106 exactly. They're doing a great job, and you know we talked about it. Just the you can see Coach Clint Mcken has done a fantastic job with this team so far. I understand that the Snowflake is currently at a little bit of a disadvantage not having enough kids, but still they're both teams are putting up great fights. We've only really had one quick match. Other than that, it's been drag them out, fighting hard and continuing to get on top and reverse as much as possible. And we've seen it a lot, even right there, straight out the gate.
Right. Now what I'm really liking to see is I'm seeing multiple coaches' influences on these wrestlers. You can see where Mario's come over from Camp Verde, and where he's won multiple state titles, and Coach Chagoya's, you can really see where he's starting to get these guys some new techniques, some fresh input into this entire program. I can see his stamp on a lot of that. I see a lot of Coach McKean. I can see where Wilbur's been working with these guys. You can see a lot of the signature from multiple coaches that have been all working with the same kids.
Yeah, he's grabbing there at the chin.
Yeah.
An illegal hold on the side of Snowflake. I'll tell you what, though, we are definitely winning the hat battle right now because
Yes.
our coaches, you see right there that sweet black cowboy hat that are
absolutely beautiful.
I mean, definitely beating that ball cap right now, unfortunately. But we are losing the beard game.
Yes.
Neither of our coaches have beards, and Snowflake's, one of their coaches, has arguably one of the best beards so far.
I think that especially for this holiday season, I think that
very festive beard?
Very festive beard. Either that or if he was a gardener, he could easily be a gnome.
Oh, whoa! My. Their illegal hold. Brought down very hard.
That was an absolutely beautiful suplex. Unfortunately, we can't do that in this style of wrestling. That would be a Greco-Roman or a freestyle wrestling move.
I mean, we'd assume that something like that, of course, was unintentional. You just, you go into the match, it's just adrenaline's pumping, and you're pushing as much as you can. You just kind of do things. Just animal instinct kicks in at some point, of
Animal
course.
instinct kicks in, but also you see the opportunity to bring your opponent down. And as an athlete, you're feeling explosive. You're probably frustrated because it's a 4 to 6 match, and he's almost been put on his back a few times. All of that plays in. And he probably has a background doing some freestyle and Greco, at which point it's really just you recognize positions with your body and you pull the trigger on it because you feel that position. It does happen. It's not always an intentional, I'm trying to be a bad guy situation. It's I felt my hips go in there, felt good, and the guy stepped into it. And honestly, it can end up looking a lot worse than the impact it actually feels.
Well, I'm pretty sure that mat, I'm pretty sure I could smack my hand against that mat and it'll sound like I threw my body on top of it.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of it's not as brutal as it sounds. Can be.
Oh, of course it can.
He didn't get really lawn darted. He got the ones that are really impactful are when people end up getting kind of lawn darted into the mat and they don't have the ability to get a good arch and roll out of it. When he landed incrementally from his shoulder to his back. He rolled through it. That wasn't a intense impact.
We got an unsportsmanlike conduct call on the side of Snowflake.
I don't know what just happened there.
It seems as if the wrestler on the side of Snowflake, in the referee's eyes, of course, and I'm going to say that exclusively, that it is the referee's opinion, that maybe the Snowflake wrestler went like a sort of cut it off motion with his hand.
Could very well be. This is a very emotional sport when you win or when you lose. There's no bigger high or no lower low than when you either win or lose in wrestling, because it's such a personal, visceral sport, honestly. It's in front of everybody, and it's just you, it's just him, and you're enforcing your will on that person. At which point, when you do beat somebody, it's just as important to be a good winner as it is to be a good loser in this sport, because it's raw. All your emotions are laid out there at the end of a wrestling match.
Well, now we've got Anthony Rodriguez, a freshman in the 152 weight class.
You can definitely see the age difference right there by the physical maturity.
I mean, to Rodriguez's credit, he's a pretty big kid.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can definitely see that he's not a upperclassman yet. He'll develop.
Well, he's still got 3 more years left here at Mingus Union.
He does. Right now, he's got an arm on his back. He's getting turned over with a good old classic half Nelson and a arm bar, and that's the end of that match.
Well, a great pin on the side of Snowflake.
Absolutely.
Great job by Anthony Rodriguez. Our current score is 11-27 in total.
And right there, that was a good winner as well.
Now I kind of understand what you're saying.
That was a good winner as well. You saw him go out there. You saw him get a good solid control tie, good solid control technique, pinned his opponent. It was congratulating on him on going after him, because when you see the maturity difference physically, it's pretty stark.
Well, you can see Rodriguez still talking to his opponent. They're sharing some laughs and some smiles, a couple fist bumps again. You know, of course it is competition. You want to win, but at the end of the day, it's just all about having fun.
And that right there is the way to win. That's the way to lose. he knows he's going to come back later and he's going to develop himself into a different body and mature a little bit.
Well, now we move up to the 160.
You said you didn't, you were never really around the sport of wrestling very much, but what sports were you involved in?
I played basketball and baseball in high school. I'm a huge football fan.
Good.
What other sports do I like? That's about it.
Okay.
I've called soccer. I like calling volleyball. It's a lot of fun.
Right there, we have a potentially dangerous situation that was not an intentional situation, but you can tell that the Mingus wrestler is definitely, he needs to protect his body a little bit more. When his arm came back there, he got his arm compounded into a bad situation. So he's going to need to start looking to protect himself. Luckily for him, it stopped him from getting pinned right away, but he was in a pretty tight spot right there for a second.
And actually, to clarify a little bit, I personally am not in wrestling. My uncle and my cousin wrestled in Oregon.
Oh, wow.
My uncle in California and my cousin, they moved to Oregon and in Oregon. And so they both wrestled had a lot of success. I think my cousin was a state champion.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm guessing here, of course. I have no clue, at least off the top of my head.
Right. You can definitely see the maturity factor in some of the upper level wrestlers from Snowflake. And you can see, like I was talking about, back to back, you have two guys that you can tell really know their pinning combinations.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll let you finish that segment or that sentence right after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere right here on Verde Valley TV.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles and go Marauders.
Balancing your family, finances, and future is a lot of responsibility. Let Jennifer Griffin and her team at State Farm help. Jennifer Griffin is an Arizona native and a Mingus graduate as well. As a third-generation State Farm agent serving the Verde Valley in the same Cottonwood Main Street location for over 35 years. Jennifer Griffin offers all of State Farm Insurance's lines, specializing in auto, home, life, and small business policies. Jennifer Griffin and State Farm Insurance, here to help life go right.
If you haven't been to Number One Sandwich Shop in Clarkdale, stop in to see why they are number one. Their patented broaster chicken is a true one-of-a-kind pressure-fried roasted favorite. Always cooked fresh, allow 20 minutes to cook. Wings, pizzas, subs, burgers, and more. Don't forget the Thrifty Heart ice cream, 14 rotating flavors served in a cone, cup, shake, float, or a sundae. Located in Clarkdale at the Roundabout on 89A heading up to Jerome. Open daily from 11 to 7.
I want to welcome you back here to. You gotta keep the headset on. Welcome you back here to Marauders Gymnasium. Phil Katapa alongside Jared Tavasi. It has been an exciting match so far. The Marauders currently leading 27 to, if you can see that score right there, 27 to a number.
Sorry, 27 to 23.
There we go, 27-23 as we begin the 170 weight class. Tyler Griffin, the brother of Ryan Griffin, stepping in now at the 170 weight class, the junior. Avid guitar player and now avid wrestler for the Marauders, 4 years of wrestling. Wants to go to NAU for accounting after high school. Another class I was terrible at. I took that at university at Grand Canyon University. I was terrible at accounting.
I didn't even try and take accounting.
Well, I had to. I was a business major, so I had to.
That's fantastic.
No, it was terrible. It's the opposite of fantastic.
Ryan and his brother are both exceptional athletes. You can see their athleticism just all over the place. I love seeing some of these big boys being able to develop because his older brother came in, and of course, when your older brother goes and wrestles, you're not going to let him just be able to beat you up the rest of your life. So Tyler, I've seen him over the summers. You really see people develop, not just all of a sudden. They develop over a duration of time. So Tyler's put the time in, he's put the effort in, he's getting better, and he's going to continue to get better.
And he's still got one more year here at Mingus as well.
Right.
Currently on the bottom, looking to get back up on top. 2-0 is our score.
Got to get that arm back in control. Man, you get that shoulder out in front like that, you can really start feeling it after a while. He needs to get his arms back in, get his body back in control, center his hips, and then be able to wrestle go from bad position to some good position. I think that's what his biggest thing is going to be, is getting those hips back up, not letting that man ride top on him hard.
Well, 2-0 is still our score. Coach Clint McKeen going over there to get the time check. Griffin will start on the bottom. His opponent will start on top. We want to thank a couple quick sponsors here. Gettles High Desert Mechanical, State Farm agent Jennifer Griffin, and the #1 sandwich shop in Clarkdale. I want to thank you for making this possible for us to call this match.
Absolutely.
Which I was corrected earlier today that it is not a game. It is a match. And I was corrected by this man right here, Jared Tavasi, clarifying that these are not wrestling games. These are wrestling matches. Which I did know.
Right.
I felt like I knew.
You can have wrestling matches at the Olympic Games, but it's not a game. Beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Man, that was a hair's breadth away from being a reversal instead of just being an escape, but that escape puts him right back in scoring position. We got a 2-1 match going on. No matter what he does right here, if he gets too near, if he scores in any way, he's right back in the match. Even if his opponent is able to get an escape, it's a 3-2 match. All he has to do is get a takedown, then we're back to even money, and that's what he's counting on. He's going to be a Marauder wrestler. He's comfortable on his feet. We like takedowns. We like being able to mix it up. He's going to be out there. He's looking for that takedown. Oh, and unfortunately, that did not work out.
Well, now Snowflake looking for the pin there.
He's looking for the pin. He's getting a lot of pressure up high. He's getting a lot of weight on him.
Griffin just trying to keep his shoulder blades off the mat.
He's got to keep his shoulder blades off the mat, and he's got to make sure that he realizes it's only a 4-point match right now.
5-1.
Anytime you're within 5 points in a wrestling match, it's anybody's game.
And there it is.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, that is exactly. So a victory for Snowflake. Big pin on the side of the Snowflake High School Wrestling. But a valiant effort by Tyler Griffin. And now we'll head into the 182 class with Luke Fangman. Fangman said his hobbies and interests are swimming and Netflix, which are two things you can't do at the same time, unfortunately.
That would be awkward.
The freshman, another guy with very limited experience at the wrestling level, and we've seen a couple of these kids who may not have wrestled for 4+ years or 6+ years do quite well for being someone inexperienced, and it goes right there at the top of that man sitting on the sideline, Clint McKeen, and how he breeds these wrestlers.
Yes, sir.
We're waiting for this to start here. This is 182, the 182 weight class.
Well, I think we just forfeited a weight class.
Oh, we may have. Okay, so the 182 is done. Now we will wait for the 220 with the other Griffin brother, Ryan Griffin, who I saw all football season long playing defensive end and offensive line. Of course, Ryan is unfortunately a senior, so he won't be back next year. So looking to, we dominated the football scene for the Marauders, and now looking to do the same now at the wrestling level.
I watch really good quality football players that come into wrestling, and they develop so many skills in the wrestling room that they can't develop that help them on the football field. And Ryan is going to be one of those people you're going to see on the football field. You'll see his hand control and his ability to get his body and square up his hips so much better. I'm sorry.
You're all good.
I'm not speaking into the mic.
There we go. Like you were saying hand control with, of course, in football, you have to use your hands a lot to get to evade defenders or evade offensive linemen. You're seeing it right there.
You're seeing it right here, and you're seeing his hips square up. You're seeing him stay in good, solid body position, and you're also being able to watch how he's being able to face his opponent forehead to forehead. He's not going ear to ear. He's keeping his head straight up. He's looking at him. He's being able to take that pressure. He's being able to put pressure. He's controlling the tempo of the match, and he will control the tempo of the match. You have to set it up when you're a larger wrestler like this. When you're a big guy, You can't just go out there and go gangbusters because you're moving so much mass around that even you get even too engaged in a situation, you'll roll through and put yourself in a bad spot.
And
so,
Gronk is a pretty big guy. I mean, it says 220, and he's just got a lot of muscle on him, and he's a lean 220.
He is.
2-1 is our score right now. The Marauders leading Snowflake. Looking for another victory.
And that's a 2-point takedown.
Great takedown by Ryan Griffin. 4-1 goes our score. And of course, we hope you stick around. We still got one more round of wrestling as the Marauders will take on Kingman.
We need to get this pin, honestly, because right now I think we're losing the
total points.
The total points. Because we had to forfeit.
That's right.
That last weight class. We had a couple of underclassmen get pinned. It's hard when you get pins instead of just losing the match, and it's hard. It's hard for a person who's in this sport that really wants to wrestle to sometimes have to back off the actual going after the win and instead start wrestling position. But as far as the team aspect, that's something you have to develop a mindset of. In dual formats is the team aspect of sometimes you have to position wrestle to not get pinned. You might not be wrestling necessarily to win, but you're wrestling to not get pinned. If you know that you don't have the experience level, just so that you put your team in a much better position to win. And that's something they'll gain over time. Like I said, it's your lower classmen that you have to try and teach those things to, not your upperclass move. Okay, we just have locking hands, which gives Gronk the ability to have one free move. And so Ryan has the ability to have, now he's going to stop the match, give him this point, and then we'll move on with.
So we had locking hands again, so that'll be a point on the side of the Marauders.
Yes.
And again, you cannot lock hands when you are behind. You can lock hands when you're in front, correct?
You can lock hands if you're in front, but you cannot lock hands when you're on top.
Right.
If you're on top, and so you're in a dominant position on top, you can't lock your hands. You can grab their arms, but not your arms.
You cannot, fingers to fingers clasping your own arm, your own hands.
And the reason for that is there's no way that you can score from that particularly as an effective scoring technique. And so what it would be considered would be a ability for that person to stall by just holding on to somebody from behind. And the other thing is when you lock your hands like that, you're generally going to be directly behind the person riding hips, which is also something else that you're not able to do.
Right.
For more than a reasonable amount of time. So because of that, when you lock hands, it's a technical violation. They don't stop it immediately because it's not an injury situation, and it gives the person that had the hands locked on them the ability to try and get a free move out of the situation.
10-1 is our score. Marauders looking for the pin.
Roll that wrist, Gronk. There we go. Now we got an arm on the back. Now he's able to either suck that head up, or he's going to go for a chicken wing to suck that head up. That's going to seal the deal. That right there is a good control tie. That's a good controlled chest-on-chest way of ending a match.
Way to go, Gronk.
Yeah, he doesn't have the ability to fight out of that. Once you've got that arm on your back and controlling the other arm with a control tie and then wrapping that head up, he's putting all that weight down on that man. He's got such dominant position in that circumstance that you're not going to beat that.
We will now have Anthony Isless. Anthony
was a state placer in junior high as well. He was a big man then. He's a big man now. I look forward to seeing what he ends up doing. His cousin wrestled with me in high school as well. He's one of my practice partners and developed lifelong friendship there. I know Anthony personally. He likes to hunt. He likes to fish. He loves football.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he loves family. I mean, that's what Anthony's all about. He's a good person. He's a good kid, and I look forward to seeing what happens with him. It's hard being that young and wrestling that big.
Takes some quick development. Yeah, it's a very much quick development. Your body's still developing when you get that big. But this is a great sport for kids like that.
It's a great sport. I have a young man, Jair, and Jair's an 8th grader this year for me, and I cannot wait to see what he does in high school because he came in as a 7th grader and he weighed 200 pounds, and he was 5'5", maybe 5'6", and because he realized that he was physically out of shape, he worked all summer and went from a 202-pound person. He dropped down to 156 pounds.
Wow.
He feels healthier. He moves better. His joints feel better. And he's able to wrestle at that weight class effectively because he realized that, this is a sport I want to be involved in. This is what I need to do to change physically. He took that responsibility on himself. He changed his body type. He lifts. He has a great work ethic and great personality. And you know what? Same thing with Isless. Anthony goes out there and he fights hard. You can tell he's in position. He's not giving anything up. He's not letting people put too much pressure on him. He's not letting people get into too controlled of a tie on him. He doesn't want all that weight if he can help it. He wants that guy to make the first move. Anthony's getting position. He's getting smart. He's not letting that guy see how guy's trying to climb over the top of Anthony's head.
And bring him down.
Yeah, he wants to get all of his weight on him.
Right.
And so it's a position battle, and Anthony's got his butt towards the middle of the mat, so he's not going to get called for stalling because
he's not near the
he's not near the edge.
Right.
There
it was, like you said, trying to get on top of him,
trying to climb up on top. That was a great first period for a freshman at that weight class. He's wrestling heavyweight right now, and that's
looks like Anthony got clocked in the nose, so we'll take a blood time.
Yeah.
But 33-41 is our score currently. Snowflake is leading the Marauders, a huge pin from Ryan Griffin early on. The Marauders really dominating the lower weight classes, but Snowflake showing their depth in the heavier weight classes. They've really been dominating since at least 140 up.
Yeah, their upper middle weights are definitely dominant. Like I was talking about that you always end up with two to four guys that are going to be really tough back-to-back weight classes, and you could see that from about the 150s up to 170s. They really were dominant in that area, and you can tell those guys are pushing each other every day in practice, and so they're going to keep developing, keep getting better in those weight classes, and that's pretty much the story of today is when you saw those four weight classes back-to-back where you had really solid, good athletic wrestlers that you can tell have been pushing each other.
Well, the Marauders still looking for another pin here. 0-0 is our score for this matchup in the 220 weight class. Had a victory in the 220s already with Ryan Griffin. Looking for another one here with Anthony. Isless. Wants to be a game warden after high school. Like you said, he likes hunting.
He loves being in the outdoors. This is a wintertime sport, and so everybody, when they get out of a nice hot wrestling room, because we try and keep the wrestling room warm, and people think it's just to lose weight. It's really not.
No, it was 1,000 degrees when I walked in here. I did have a jacket on, but I walked into the gym, and I went, wow, it is hot.
And part of the reason for that is because it decreases injuries. In a warm room, you don't have the injuries. You don't have the
your
mats,
body's not as stiff.
The mats are softer, and so you actually have less impact on your joints, on everything else. And so it's really important to keep that heat factor. So you always saw, I figured Anthony was a hunter when I first met him because walking out of the wrestling room back out into the cold, he's all covered up in a big old parka that's all camo. I said, I bet you hunt, don't you? I only got to work with Anthony for 1 year, but he was fantastic, and he's about to score right here. I'm having a real hard time not standing up and yelling like everybody in the stands is right now. But he just scored a 2-point takedown. That puts him in the lead. Now we're an even money match right here. We got 2-2.
2-2.
He's got his opponent has 2 escapes. Anthony has a 2-point takedown, and I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him right now. He's developing solidly into a good wrestler. Like I said, he placed in state and junior high. Yeah, that's a takedown.
Yeah, big takedown. Snowflake looking for a pin in the 220 weight class of their own.
Yes, he
got
is.
him on his back.
And that's about all she wrote.
And there it is.
When you get a big guy and he's laying on top of you, you can tell that there's a pretty good size difference there. And when that big man lays on top of you, it's pretty hard to get off your back. Well, we lost the duel, but I saw some really good stuff that we can build from. I saw some good building blocks. And like I said, this is the first match of the year. They're going to have a lot of nerves that are going to be coming out, and it's going to be a really I think you'll see a lot better stuff out of the second go-around.
And they've still got another duel coming up. Of course, we are done wrestling Snowflake now. Now we shift our focus to Kingman, who we saw earlier, a fully staffed team.
Yes.
Everybody showed up. Of course, Snowflake was a little bit kind of on the back foot already with not having as many players as the Marauders did. But Kingman is completely fully staffed, and now we will see a very, very interesting matchup between the Marauders and Kingman.
It should be a really good matchup. I love getting the jitters out, getting that first match out of the way, and I think the people are going to really open up and be able to start seeing what they can do.
Well, we're going to take a couple more sponsors here. Rags Roofing, Rice Accounting, Jackson Hewlett, A. Earls Construction, Larry Green Chevrolet, Galpin RV, and Hyundai of Cottonwood. Want to thank you all for sponsoring. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the Kingman duel ready for you. Don't go anywhere, right here on Verde Valley TV.
Rags Roofing, the roofing experts. A family-owned business with over 50 years of roofing experience. 3 generations specializing in all types of roofing: metal, tile, shingle, flat, roof coatings, and fascia metal. Rags Roofing, the roofing experts for residential and commercial roofs in the Verde Valley. Call 928-649-0537. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Mitch and Nate have you covered at Rags Roofing in Cottonwood.
2 things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
People often refer to Larry Green Chevrolet as the people place. Keeping that reputation is a priority in the community and with every customer that comes through the door. Larry Green Chevrolet, we're better and we'll prove it. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, you'll find our selection extensive and the sales team professional and courteous. Visit Larry Green Chevrolet just off Highway 260 next to Walmart or LarryGreenChevrolet.com.
Want to welcome you back here to Mingus Union High School inside of the Mingus Marauders Gymnasium. Philip Katafmo alongside state champion and former Marauder wrestler Jared Tavasi. And Jared, we had an excellent match. I want to clarify that Snowflake was the team that was depleted in terms of their roster. Kingman is got the sorry, I did it again.
You did it again.
Kingman is the one who has the depleted roster. Sholo is the one who's got everybody,
roster.
and Snowflake is done.
Right.
And Kingman is now getting ready to wrestle. Right now, we've got a couple exhibition matches before we start.
Right.
We've got a couple JV wrestlers on the side of Mingus, and it looks like on the side of Kingman or Snowflake. I think it's Snowflake. They have not cleared out yet. And we'll also get a couple of the girls wrestling exhibitions going as well. So we've got a lot of wrestling all night on this Wednesday night.
Right. You know, you have a limited number of duels that you're able to participate in, limited number of tournaments you're able to participate in. So a lot of the times coaches will get some of their wrestlers that are not, I mean, you can have a guy that's 1 point off of being on varsity. They lose a wrestle off. You got one guy that he might be 1 point off, 2 points off. He's still a good quality wrestler. He just doesn't get the opportunity to go out there and be able to compete for anything. And so I love seeing the coaches talk to each other, get some mat time for these young wrestlers. I got to work with Caleb, who's on the mat right now for the Marauders. He came in. He started wrestling last year. He's got a younger brother that's wrestling for me this year named Xander. And I you might not be able to break the varsity lineup, but at least we get some mat time, get some experience, and I love seeing that. He's getting in on a single leg, and that guy's circling hard on him and just not able to keep up with that leg. Most of the motion has to come from your legs. And Caleb has some super long legs, but he's got to move those. He's got to keep them moving.
Which you can, I know you can sort of have somewhat of an advantage when you've got longer legs. You
Absolutely.
Can almost, you've got a lot more length. You can stretch out a little bit more. You can kind of lift yourself up maybe a little easier.
If a wrestler's long and he's strong, which is kind of what you're looking for. You want that length, but you also have to get that strength with it. So you have to lift. If you don't lift, you're just not going to end up where you want to be success-wise. But
yeah, and to that credit too, a lot of these kids are when you go up to the heavier weight classes, whatever, they have to be in good shape.
Oh,
Even the heavier weight classes, these aren't just, heavy set kids just throwing each other's body. No, these kids are working out. They're athletic. They have to stay in shape. They're constantly lifting weights. Even the kids who are thinner, same thing. They have to. You're lifting a human person. You have to stay in shape.
That is the start of it, is you're pushing somebody that's the same weight as your body is. And so you have to at least be able to handle as much weight as your body effectively for 6 minutes, pushing and pulling against somebody who can handle the same kind of strength. So it's a grueling sport, and as people develop, you'll see them develop physically and mentally, but mostly you'll see this mental toughness. He needs to switch off right there. The real fight's actually with his right arm. If he can switch his right arm and go around that second leg instead of keeping hold of the high crotch position, he'd have 2 points right there. But that's the difference between a varsity wrestler and a JV second-year wrestler, is not recognizing position right there. He's getting himself across his opponent's body, and he's turning the wrong direction. Now he's finally turning, and it's working for him, but he's still not in the best position. That's decent position, but the best position would be to turn his hips and get chest on chest where he can get his weight downward.
Where he's
about to get himself rolled. Right there, he just got rolled. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, the leverage and your fulcrum point right there is you have too much of a fulcrum there where your opponent has the ability to get some hope. His opponent got off of his back. He didn't score any points by getting off of his back. At the same time, he has the most powerful thing known to mankind, which is hope, now that he can actually wrestle with Caleb. And one of the things I try and preach to my wrestlers is take all of that person's hope away. Don't let them think they can wrestle with you.
And I would assume leverage is a huge component, and momentum as well is a huge component.
It is.
We say it a lot in football where, we've got the momentum. Of course, that's more of a metaphorical momentum, but this is literally, if you don't have the momentum, you're going to lose.
True. And that momentum shift can be huge. That's what I'm talking about, that hope. When you feel when you're able to do something athletic, even if you don't score on it against somebody else, all of a sudden you feel like you have the ability to compete with that person. Caleb's getting across his hips. He's going to get pulled right over on top of himself if he's not careful right here.
You can see that left, though. Yeah. Both those legs are in the air, and there's the flip.
There's that pull.
Yeah.
You can't get across those hips if you don't throw a leg in. If you throw a leg in, then you have a power position. If you don't throw a leg in, you have no stability right there, so you're going to get rolled over to your back.
Well, when we saw it right there, Caleb didn't have his feet down, did not have the leverage. He got flipped over immediately.
And now he has to fight so much harder. That's the reason for technique and coming up with a game plan, is so that you don't have to fight that much harder to try and pull out a win.
Right.
Even though Caleb's winning on points, he's working so hard for that win right now. A lot of people do that in life.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're working harder than you really need to.
Oh, my goodness.
Caleb just looking to get back up on top.
Right now he's trying to get that arm off of his head. That's a half Nelson position. Puts a lot of pressure on your neck because you're using their arm as a lever point.
Okay.
And especially when you have long arms like that and somebody takes it out to the elbow, they can really get that leverage on that elbow.
There we go. Both wrapping up around each other.
And once again, he needs to turn those hips down, face. There we go. See how he turned those hips down, face the mat? Yes, he doesn't have the guy on his back, but he's in a much better physical position at that point.
That was a great reversal.
Great reversal. Absolutely. He's figured out how to keep that pressure on there and still be able to switch those hips and get that hip heist going.
We got another locking hands on the side of Snowflake.
Right, and each time you progressively lock hands, you go from 1 point to 2. To the second time you lock hands, it's 2 points. Third time is 3 points, and I think you get DQ'd after that.
Well, it's got to be at some point. You know, you're doing the same thing.
Right.
You know, you're giving away free points essentially at that.
It is.
You know,
it's terrible. You never want to give away free points. You want to make them fight for them.
14-9 is our score in this exhibition match on the JV level. We'll get varsity wrestling going here in just a few minutes. Thank you for joining us here on Verde Valley TV for the first match of the season for the Mingus Marauders. They were able to battle hard, battle tough against Snowflake in their duels against them.
That was a beautiful shot and takedown by Snowflake right there. He came in with a high crotch, turned the corner really nicely. Caleb, unfortunately, he's grabbing the leg. He's wrapping the leg the wrong direction.
So he's grabbing it from the outside instead of from the inside, because you want that inside. You get a little bit more leverage on the pull.
Your body doesn't move this well.
It does not move backwards. If you're trying to bend your arm back.
There's no powerlifting position here where people do curls all the time because it's a good power position for your body. So once again, that second year experience, he's wrapping the leg the wrong direction, and he doesn't even realize he can't pull that leg through his own arm.
But was able to get the victory. It was not pretty, but was able to capitalize and get the win.
Absolutely. You know what? I'll take every win I can possibly get. Sometimes it's good to be great. Sometimes it's even better to be lucky. And right there, that third time his opponent locked hands, that was the match. He lost the match based on technical violations. And, you know, once again, that's something that he'll learn from, and that's why these exhibition matches are great, getting some real mat time in front of your home.
That falls into the category that I like to call a win is a win.
Exactly. A win is a win is a win.
Was not pretty, but a win is a win.
Right.
And right now, Snowflake looking to get the early win in this exhibition match. This is the JV level. We'll have varsity wrestling against Kingman in a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit of a depleted Kingman team. Two to 0 is the score in this exhibition matchup. Snowflake currently leading 2-0. Had a great early on. If you missed it, we had a great duel between Snowflake and the Marauders. I'm going to be honest. I'm not entirely sure who won the duel.
Snowflake did, 47 to 33.
So they did. Okay, so Snowflake was able to come up with the victory, but anything from those matches you like to see, kind of carry into the next match?
The lightweights, they dominated from the lightweights up, and then you like you were talking about, there's a big switch right there around the 150-pound weight class, and so you can probably see that Clint, being a smaller statured coach, I think that the lightweights probably get a little bit more love, and you start looking at and also we have a hard time getting everybody to come out and wrestle.
Well, to the credit as well, I mean, Ryan Griffin did a great job.
Did a fantastic job.
They had a couple kids down there in the heavier weight classes who, while they may have lost, still did a phenomenal job.
He did, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that as far as the style of the lightweights,
like you said, it might just be easier for Coach Mcken to sort of know what exactly the lighter weight classes need, because he wrestled at that weight class. You do what you know.
Exactly. You start looking at the makeup of the coach on the Snowflake sidelines, and he looks like he's about a 152-pounder in high school. 145, 152-pounder.
But I still will confidently say that we are winning the hat game.
Absolutely.
We're winning the hat game.
We're winning the hat game. We're winning the color game.
That's right.
And definitely winning the style.
With the JV matches are still continuing here. We're wrapping that up, and I think we'll get a couple of the girls wrestling team getting out there and get an opportunity to wrestle as well.
Yes, very much
which will be great to see a really, really good wrestling team on the girls' side here at Mingus.
Man, I'm telling you what, Danny does so much for the sport and for her girls, and you can just see the way that they respond to her as a coach. They flock around her, honestly, and somebody to look up to in life. When I first met Danny, she was actually in here rolling up mats, and that sounds like a very menial job, but she took control of the whole situation, and she had people lined out. She was organized, and you're going to see her just do great things with her life, and you see her doing it as a coach already. You see how dominant her girls are. It's fantastic to see that. I get really excited talking about other people's success.
Well, but I mean, like like you said at the beginning of this broadcast, it starts at the top and trickles down. It's the good coaching, it's the leadership that makes these teams as successful as possible. And it starts with Coach Clint and it starts with Coach Danny setting the standard and laying the groundwork for the rest of this program for the future of the Marauder Wrestling.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got more wrestling on the way.
We got lots more wrestling.
Yes, we do. So don't go anywhere right here on Verde Valley TV. Don't go anywhere.
If you want freedom and adventure, stop into one of Galpin Auto and RV's convenient locations. With a large inventory of both new and pre-owned autos and RVs, they have something for most every budget. You'll find a relaxed, no-hassle way of doing business in both Dewey and Cottonwood. Their knowledgeable staff will have you on your way to your next vacation in no time. Galpin Auto and RV in Dewey and Cottonwood, a name you can trust for over 30 years.
You dream it, they build it. A. Earls Construction is focused on your remodel dreams. Transform a TV room into a real entertainment area. Turn the mundane into incredible and add to the value of your home. Have the kitchen you need or the kitchen you've always dreamed of, both inside and out. A. Earls Construction can make your remodel ideas reality. When you're ready to make your house your home, count on A. Earls Construction. Licensed, bonded, insured, and experienced.
When you buy a vehicle at Hyundai of Cottonwood, you'll enjoy thousands of miles. With America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles, driving a Hyundai will give you peace of mind. Yes, there's something for everyone at Hyundai of Cottonwood on Rodeo Drive, above Larry Green Chevrolet and next to Walmart. Hyundai of Cottonwood. New thinking, new possibilities. A formula for happy drivers.
Going to happen. I want to welcome you back here to Mingus Union High School inside the Mingus Gymnasium. Philip Katafmo, alongside state champion and former Mingus Marauder wrestler Jared Tavasi. And yes, that is how I was going to be introducing you for the rest of the show. We've currently got JV wrestling going on right now. We just got done with the Marauders versus Snowflake. We're moving soon to Marauders versus Kingman. But for right now, a couple of the JV kids getting an opportunity to show Clint McKean that maybe they should be on the roster next season, or just getting some experience in general, which is good nonetheless.
All of the above. You know, everybody has to start someplace, and nobody goes out being a champion on their first go-around. So these guys are getting to go out there, they're getting to compete, they're getting to feel what it feels like to be on the big stage in the middle of the gym with everybody watching them, and all their buddies are sitting over here. And if you notice, one thing I really like seeing is the fact that all of our wrestlers over here that have wrestled and they're getting ready to wrestle, they're all still watching.
Right.
You don't see the varsity going and doing something else or going anyplace else. They're right here still being engaged. They're still watching their guys that they go out there and they compete with every day.
Right.
And that's how lifelong friendships and respect is
Well, it's the
developed
support
over time.
on both sides. You know, they're all playing for
Absolutely.
the same team. They may not be at the same level, but they're all playing for the same team. And you know, you make a great point. When I played JV baseball, we had a lot of the varsity guys come over and watch our games when we played a little earlier. It's been a while, but when we played a little earlier than them, or we played the day before, a couple of the varsity guys would show up and show their support. And it's, again, building that foundation of a great program with Coach Clint McKean. Again, I'm pretty sure he told the varsity guys, you know, stay close, get some water, watch some JV wrestling, get ready, you know, getting that mindset ready, kind of stay in as loose as possible. You see a lot of the guys joking on the sidelines, which is very important. You want to keep it as loose as possible.
You've got to. You know, and that's the thing is, honestly, Coach McKean's been doing this for a long time. He's been a leader on in this sport and in this program since I was a freshman in high school.
Right.
He really was instrumental in taking the program to the next level. When he was a team captain, he went on his own. He and Max Vickers, really, they were the two team captains. They started having people show up at 6:30 in the morning and running a morning practice.
Right.
Before anything, I mean, you pretty much were required to show up if you were going to be on varsity. And so it became an expectation factor that he's been setting the tone for a long time of hard work paying off. And you're seeing the
payoff. Right here. Yeah, exactly.
And you know, the young guys, it means a lot to them when the older guys are watching them. It really does. And it makes them feel like part of the team because they are, and gives them a place. Yeah. This is a sport where I'm hoping the guys like Isaac Mcken and Kai Miller and Anthony Isless, I hope they're looking at these guys and saying, man, they're going to be on our team on varsity next year. This is what we need to really step up. This is what we need to change in that room, and hope they're taking a leadership role because, you know, you have guys like Ryan Griffin, and they're going to be gone next year.
That's right.
And so it's going to be the next group of leaders that are stepping up, and they're going to be taking charge of their own wrestling room and running it the way they want to run it. And that's a big part of this sport is making it theirs. And I really want to see what those guys do because they've had excellence in their life, and I want to see them be able to establish themselves.
Exactly, and I would assume, you know, Ryan Griffin and any of the other seniors that are on this team want to kind of root on these JV guys because they know that they're going to be the next crop of guys coming up at the varsity level, and even the guys who are currently on varsity, also understanding that, hey, these guys are going to be playing right next to us. And I feel like there's this stigma around high school sports that, you know, there's varsity and then there's JV, and maybe in a few cases it is like that, but honestly, in most, it's really not. It's a lot of these guys kind of taking these younger guys under their wings and incorporating them into their personal lives and making friends and being good teammates. And
it really is.
Yeah, it starts with the coaching and establishing that as the set standard that just because they're JV does not mean that they're below you. We're all playing on the same team. We're just at different levels.
Here's the thing is, it starts with the coaches, and it starts with the coaches empowering a couple of individuals to be good team leaders and telling them the expectations because, like I said, we had a fantastic history. Coach Wilcash was an excellent head coach. He was able to have amazing success in a small town setting nationally. Statewide, nationwide, all across the board. But he knew how to empower people. And when he empowered them as team leaders, he gave that authority to them to be able to not just go out there and be a team captain and token and shake hands with people. Really, you saw them be able to develop leadership and be able to develop their team and make it their own. And that's what Clint's really been doing for a long time. Is he was able to make this team his own. And now that he's the head coach, and I'm thankfully being able to spend more time with the junior high, I think we're going to have some really good things in store. And I really hope that the next crop of underclassmen steps up and really starts taking that leadership role serious. I hope they start developing almost an adopt a freshman program where
even that, like you were saying, is you know, the upperclassmen in your experience kind of almost being coaches out on the mat or even out on the field in certain situations of being like, look, we're respected. We're not an authoritative figure. Just because I've got the C on my chest or I'm recognized as one of the team leaders does not mean that I'm the boss of you. It's just a respective at the top and then trickling down to the bottom. And again, it continues to breed excellence in a program.
Yes, it does. That's what the sport's all about. It's empowering and learning mental toughness because it's
very easy to discourage somebody. It's very hard to lead them.
Yes.
And the ones who lead do it well. And you know, like you said, you can see right here with the leadership of Clint Mcken, this is a very successful program. Of course, they did lose against to Snowflake, but this is the first match of the season. This is not going to happen again later on down the road or even next Wednesday.
In wrestling, it's not about the first match. It's not about the second match. It's about where you end up at state. Honestly, I have wrestled since I was in 6th grade, like I said, and nobody asks me how did I place at the Thunderbird tournament. Everybody wants to know what I did at state. And so every year it's a rebuilding process over the duration of the season until you get to that state tournament, the regionals and state tournament. Really, it's all about those two tournaments. I mean, we can go to all sorts of different tournaments. We can go to the Mingus Invitational. You can go to Moon Valley, and there's some great tournaments, and people that are in the sport can know about them. But realistically, it's all about regionals and state. And so they have to develop from where they're at right now, and Clint has to take them from where they're at right now to where they want to be. And a lot of that boils down to what that person individually chooses on the inside and what he's willing to be able to make, the sacrifices in his life that he's willing to make to get the goals that he wants. And that's how wrestling develops. That's how wrestling develops over the course of a season, and that's how wrestlers develop from where they're at to where they want to be. And like I said, it's the time you put into it, you get back out of it. In this sport, I've never seen somebody put their absolute best effort in and do everything that somebody else who is a champion is doing and not find success. They might not be a champion, but I've never seen them not find success. And by success, I mean being able to compete effectively on a varsity level, being able to compete and place at regionals and go to the state tournament. Not everybody's going to win the state tournament. Not everybody physically is going to be able to be a state placer.
Right.
I'm never going to physically be able to be a quarterback. I'm 5'7".
Same here. I got a bad shoulder.
Just not going to happen. But you can find success due to the work that you put into this sport. It's time and effort equals success.
Exactly. I mean, like you're saying, and success, like you said, takes many forms.
Yes.
It's not how many banners you put up. It's honestly, you're seeing it here with Coach Mcken.
Yep.
You know, he may not win state every single year,
right?
But he knows that he is creating success within his program because of the way he coaches and the way he leads.
And it takes time to redevelop that culture
right.
of winning,
right?
Because when you have people that are consistently winning, it's easy to look at them and just assume that you're going to be one of those people.
You're going to be a winner, exactly.
I looked up to guys when I was in junior high. I'd come in and I'd look up to the varsity guys in the high school that were winners, and I sat there and said, well, when I put a red Mingus jersey on, I'm going to go out there and be able to do that too,
right?
Because it's part of the success that continues throughout the program. And so I looked up to guys like Aaron Midkiff and Jason Casper and Max Vickers and Clint McKean. I mean, those were the guys when I walked in the room, I already knew who they were. I already knew the success that they had, and so did everybody else statewide. I mean, you had tons of state placers that have gone through this program and found that success and found a home for that success. And now I know we had a few years where we've had some down years because honestly the leadership, I don't know that the experience was there. I mean, realistically, if you don't have the athletes and if you don't have
it's all about the attitude as well,
the dedication from the staff at the school to be able to empower that coach, it's really hard to continue success.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And I know that had been a factor for a few years there, and so now we're having to rebuild that. And that starts at the junior high level, and that starts at keeping the guys there that are there and making them better and making them feel part of a family. I mean, David Wilbur right here, he was a multiple-time state champion, and I remember working with him when he was in 6th and 7th grade, and that his family moved into the Verde Valley. I got to start coaching him, and I was in high school, and I started going down there and getting to work with him, and then I started following them because, you know, you lay a foundation, then you get to see the fruit of that foundation.
Right.
I mean that he competed on the national level, he competed on the state level, and found success every place he went. And those are the things that make everybody want to keep coming back. I mean, you see people that I saw Miguel Santion, and he was sitting in the stands earlier. Miguel's I'm not sure if it's his little brother or his son, but Joaquin was my first wrestling coach. And he was a senior in high school when I was in 6th grade. And so he was a state champion. But you see the same people keep coming back because the sport gave something to them too. And I think that's really important to see that family aspect of it where we all stay in touch. We all still know each other. I mean, Coach Chagoya coached over at Camp Verde for years, and finally this year he came over here. And you know, it's not a competition. It's a embracing.
Jared, I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
We do have to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the Marauders varsity will be back on the mat. They'll be taking on Kingman. Don't go anywhere right here on Verde Valley TV.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles, and go Marauders.
Balancing your family, finances, and future is a lot of responsibility. Let Jennifer Griffin and her team at State Farm help. Jennifer Griffin is an Arizona native and a Mingus graduate as well. As a third-generation State Farm agent serving the Verde Valley in the same Cottonwood Main Street location for over 35 years. Jennifer Griffin offers all of State Farm Insurance's lines, specializing in auto, home, life, and small business policies. Jennifer Griffin and State Farm Insurance, here to help life go right.
If you haven't been to Number One Sandwich Shop in Clarkdale, stop in to see why they are number one. Their patented broaster chicken is a true one-of-a-kind pressure-fried roasted favorite. Always cooked fresh, allow 20 minutes to cook. Wings, pizzas, subs, burgers, and more. Don't forget the Thrifty Heart ice cream, 14 rotating flavors served in a cone, cup, shake, float, or a sundae. Located in Clarkdale at the Roundabout on 89A heading up to Jerome. Open daily from 11 to 7.
Want to welcome you up top the gymnasium here at Mingus Union High School. Phil Katafmo, alongside state champion and former Mingus Union wrestler Jared Tavasi, and we are getting set for the final round, the final duel of tonight's first match for these teams, or excuse me, for the side of the Mingus Marauders. The Marauders are taking on Kingman. We saw a fantastic duel on the side of the Marauders when they took on Snowflake, and now they've got Kingman.
Yes, they do. You know, Kingman looks like they have some upper weights that are stacked, and looks like they have a couple of really light guys. Unfortunately, they don't have a full lineup, but, you know, they're going to put people out there that are going to compete on a varsity level, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we have here. Thankfully, it's our second match.
Yes.
And so we got some of the cobwebs knocked off, and
Kingman's been waiting. They had to wait. They finished their duel, then they had to wait for the entire Marauder versus Snowflake duel to end, and that includes the JV side. So, you know, Kingman might, you know, they're still keeping loose, but they might be a little bit less warm than the Marauders.
Absolutely. You know, that second duel that they're having to wait for is going to actually be hard on Kingman because they went really high during their duel, and then they had that lag time, and that lag time will just kill a person.
Yeah.
It changes how your body feels. Mingus is going to be going right back into it, and so even though they had to wait through the JV wrestlers, they're still going to be able to go back into it. And I think they're going to be a little bit better prepared mentally for this next go. And I think they have a really good shot at this.
You know, we did see on the side of the Marauders, they were really doing well at that lower weight classes, but sort of the middle to heavier weight classes, they were kind of struggling a little bit. Of course, Ryan Griffin was able to get the victory, but the Marauders, you know, that sort of second half, they kind of slowed down a little bit. And we look at on the side of the Kingman, of Kingman High School, and they've got a lot of bigger kids.
They do. They have a lot of bigger kids. I don't know what their grades are. I don't know how old they are, but you do see a lot of the bigger boys over there. Thankfully, you got a couple of lightweights, so a couple of our lightweights are going to get to wrestle. And that's one of the bad things about the sport is the fact that if you don't have a full varsity lineup, it's really hard to compete in a dual format.
Yeah, and that's got to be tough for Kingman. You know, you're coming into this match, and you like you said, you're a little bit depleted. You're wrestling against a full roster on the side of the Marauders. You've kind of got to forfeit a few weight classes just because you.
And the forfeits count against you in points wise on a dual format as a pin. So it's 6 points every time you have to forfeit a weight class. So a lot of times it's devastating to have to forfeit those weight classes. I know that several times when I was in high school we didn't have a full roster, and so even though we had a great team in tournament play because we were able to go really deep because we had some great studs that were just always in the finals, and you got extra points at tournaments for that and everything else. On a dual format, we just got lit up because we were having to forfeit 5 or 6 weight classes, and you're giving up 30 or 40 points.
Now, of course, that does not mean an automatic victory for the Marauders.
No,
of course, this is a two-sided match. It can go either way. You could have 5 forfeits and still lose the entire match. But this is going to be a fun duel.
It's going to be a great duel.
We had an exceptional duel between Mingus and Snowflake. We got a chance early on to see Kingman wrestle against Snowflake as we were getting ready for the Marauders. And you can see the team captains out there getting ready. Of course, the football will be the coin toss. This, I'm assuming, is you can't really pick sides. So
no, we just shake hands.
More shake hands, exactly.
They do a coin toss, and the coin toss is actually for who gets choice on top bottom.
Oh, okay.
In the second period.
Interesting.
And they alternate top bottom choice. Between weight classes, either odds or evens. So every other weight class, they get the next team gets those choices. In a format like this, where you have a not full roster, you know which if your first guy out there is getting the choice, if you have to forfeit every other weight class, you might end up getting choice in all of your matches. Where
you've got the advantage already.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
No, exactly.
And so that's one of those things that does matter on a small scale, not on a big scale, but that does matter on a small scale. And so I look forward to seeing how this all goes.
Well, if we haven't already, we're going to send you down to the mat as we get ready for the 106 weight class to get things started. Or, excuse me, the 106 weight class. The Marauders in their previous matchup against Snowflake lost the 113, dominated the 106, and then lost the 113, and kind of put on a nice stretch where they were really getting some great pins, getting some great victories. And then, like we mentioned, it was those heavier weight classes that kind of did the Marauders in, dropping a couple of the upper weight classes around maybe the 160s to 200s. So
yeah, you can tell those guys really push each other. I'd love to see those guys in the room because you can tell that they like to get into a fight with each other. I mean, they're pushing each other towards greatness. And so that team's going to be really strong in those 4 weights right there. I don't know if they have a group of 4 that they like to rotate through or not, but that would be my suspicion on Snowflake. Those guys look like they're physically fit. They look like they're ready to wrestle, and so I like seeing that about people. We got Noah Vega out here.
Had a great
he's got a cradle right now. He's getting his body in the right position to be able to finish that off. If nothing else, he's getting some near fall and a takedown out of it. Hopefully he's able to tripod up, get his head in the mat, and get his hips where he needs to be able to finish that off. But there we go. Now I think that's going to do a lot better for him.
And Vega's already got himself a pin early on against Snowflake, was able to get the victory and did it again here.
That right there's 2 back-to-back pins. I love seeing somebody go out there and pin to win. That's what it's all about for a lightweight. You got to go out there and you got to establish yourself.
We're setting the tempo for the entire match when you start off like that. And we saw a hot start for the Marauders early on. It started with that man right there, Noah Vega.
Mm-hmm. You know, when you see the guy in front of you go out and pin somebody, it kind of puts that little bit of expectation that you're going to do the same thing. And so you get to go out there and you get to.
So it'll be a forfeit for Andrew Hayes at the 113 class again. Like we said, Kingman is a little depleted on their roster, which is extremely unfortunate.
Right.
But another victory for the Marauders.
And out comes Kai.
And out comes your guy, Kai Miller.
Oh man, the sky's the limit for Kai. He's going to be able to go out.
Oh, never mind.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him wrestle again. Every time I get to see Kai wrestle, it's a pleasure. And
you'll get an opportunity next Wednesday, of course, and we hope that you tune in next Wednesday. We'll have another wrestling match right here on Verde Valley TV. Same time, same place. And Jared, you'll be there. I'll be there.
I will be there next week. Same time, same place. I'm excited about that as well. But
looks like we'll get another forfeit at the 120 weight class. So we're going to try to shift our focus here to 126. And that is the 126 class. I mean the
130s.
130s.
Oh, sorry, 132.
Yeah, 132. And this is, again, the coach's son in Isaac Mcken getting ready to – we'll see if he's going to get his hand raised in a victory or if he's going to get an opportunity to wrestle. And no, Isaac Mcken is also going to take a victory at the 132 weight class, so we'll shift over to 138. Maybe, yes, we will get a wrestling match in 138. I really don't mean to laugh, but I mean, it's really unfortunate that Kingman does not have a full roster, because I would love to see this team wrestle at full capacity, just to see how they would do against, Kai Miller or and
that's
Mcken.
That's the things. You got 3 guys right there. You got Kai, you got Isaac, and you have what's his name? The 30-pounder, 32, the 132-pounder. Keen. Yeah.
Yes.
The 3 of them are just phenomenal wrestlers. They're gonna be a force in the state to really be reckoned with. Everybody will know that section of weights is going to be a Mingus strong place. I mean, those guys have established themselves. They've done everything in life to put themselves in a really dominant position at those weights. And so every time I don't get to see them wrestle, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I want to see Kai go all the way. I want to see Isaac go all the way to college and be able to be really successful on the next level as well. And I can't wait to see what their high school careers bring, because they're such good students and athletes and just people. I mean, I've got to see those young men develop over the past couple of years in the junior high program, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with them.
This is Tyler Bill at the 138 weight class. He is a junior. This is his second year wrestling. So another, again, going back to sort of the inexperienced yet experience, 2 years under your belt is experience, not compared to some of the other Marauders, but experience nonetheless.
2 years is enough time to where you know what you're doing and you can get yourself into or out of trouble. And that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing a second-year wrestler that you can tell has put some time into the sport. He got people off his legs. He's fighting for hand position and head position. He's really not as aggressive as some people are, and he's not staying in solid position. I'd like to see him get in a little bit better position and hand fight a little bit more, and not let somebody sit there and hang on his head like that. But, it's like I said, it's not where you're at the beginning of your second year. It's where you're at the end of your second year that really means a lot.
Still a 0-0 match or duel so far. 30-0 for the Marauders. Of course, the unfortunate forfeits on the side of Kingman gives them the Marauders a very significant lead. Not entirely sure what just happened.
End of the period,
okay.
And they have three choices. They can either take top, bottom, or neutral. And they chose neutral, which means they're going back on their feet. They're going to wrestle from their feet. They feel confident there. Right now, see, we've got a second-year wrestler. He should have dropped his hips real low, would have finished that takedown solidly, because the guy reached all the way over the top of his head. You got a couple of guys here that aren't as experienced, and you can see that. But, like I said, it's not where they start the season. It's where they end the season. And right there, hanging your head over the top can put you in pretty bad position real quick.
And a bad position right now, 2-0. The Marauders leading.
That's a pin.
That is.
Or would have been if the ref was in position. Like right now, that's it. That's all she wrote. I don't know what he's waiting for.
Yeah, there it is. Finally gets the call for the pin.
Yeah, that was game over.
Yeah, a great pin. Like we said, just because they had to forfeit does not mean they were not going to win, and a great victory for Kingman.
No, absolutely. Good victory for Kingman. When a young guy gets to go out there and gets to compete like that, though, even every match makes him that much better. I don't even know how to describe that really, but it's all about that mat time.
Yeah.
Because you can wrestle and practice for 2 hours straight, and you'll be just as exhausted after 4 matches over an entire day as you will after a 2-hour hard practice. And because of the adrenaline level and how hard you actually try when you're out there in the spotlight and it's just you out there is just exponential comparatively.
Well, this is Hunter Robinson in the 145 weight class.
I know he got beat on his last go around, but like I said, I've heard such good things about him. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with him by the end of the year, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what all's going to go on there. Got him on his back, but he's going to turn him over, and we get a good reversal right there. He not okay with just standing on his back.
We'll
got 2 reversal red. That's going to be I have no idea what the score is right now because everybody's kind of flipping and turning. And I think the scoreboard's kind of questioning the same thing.
I think it's either 6-4 or
4.
Right now it says 4-4.
Right now it's saying 4-4, but for some reason I have a feeling I think it should be about 5-4 is what I think it should be, but I don't know that for a fact.
We're going to get some clarification. It is 4-4.
It is 4-4. Okay, then that was a 2 near fall, not a 3 near fall. He didn't hold him for a 5 count on that. Fair enough. That'll work.
We get a little reset on the headgear. So Kingman will start on the bottom. Marauders will start on the top. Do you got a favorite? I mean, did you like the neutral position more? Did you like being – I mean, is it really – was there really a choice? Were you good at all three? Is there a particular one that you liked?
I hate when somebody's on top of me because I have a little bit of claustrophobia.
Okay.
And so it would kind of freak me out a little bit. And I didn't like somebody to think that they could
We kind of started in
position.
such a vulnerable position early on with another human being on top of you.
So I didn't mind being on bottom, and I usually would choose bottom because nobody was going to hold me down,
right,
and I could get a free point. I could get a free point out of it, get back to my feet, and wrestle neutral. I think I was probably most known for top position, though I don't know. I preferred neutral. If I was gonna, if all things even, I'd pick neutral because I knew I could take somebody down no matter what.
Right.
And I know that on my feet now. Also, you have to remember, at different points in a match, you're going to choose different positions. In the first period, it's great to be in neutral because everybody's fresh. And in the second period, it's great to be in neutral. In the third period, I wouldn't want to be on neutral. And in the third period, I know for a fact that my reflexes might be a touch off because
you're a little tired.
Exactly, because I'm going to be pushing it. I'm going to be pushing him as hard as I can. I'm probably going to be pushing myself as hard as I can as well. And so in the third period, I really didn't want to be in the neutral position. In the third period, I'd want to be on top.
Right.
Because I know I can dominate a top position without really getting hurt. And a feet to back move is a 5-point move real quick because you're taking somebody from their feet, put them on their back, holding them there for 3 seconds. And by the time you're able to recover that, you don't have enough time to make those points up in a good solid matchup between two evenly matched individuals. And so I didn't like being in neutral in the third period if I could help it. But I would definitely pick neutral in the first 2 periods.
When you're fresh and
right.
you start in the neutral position to start, and then you go into the other ones.
Realistically, I'd start in the neutral position, and a lot of times I'd let people get back up, be able to take them down, let them up, take them down. That way, I wanted to do 2 things by doing that. I wanted to establish the fact that they knew they weren't going to take me down.
Kind of like it's like watching a shark pick at a seal.
Exactly. I wanted them to know that they weren't going to take me down, so they didn't have any chance in that position. And secondly, I was able to generate some points, establish it being my match,
right?
Instead of letting that person react to. I want them reacting to me, not me reacting to them. And so those were some of the things I really like to establish. I like neutral, but I think top position was definitely my niche. I like to roll wrists hard. I like to really just enforce my will on somebody. That way they could feel that they weren't going to be able to compete with me in the long run.
Or like you said, I mean, you kind of almost show them any position you're not going to win against me.
Right.
And like I said, you kind of go back to that shark mentality of circling around the seal and showing that no matter which direction you go, I'm right there with you, and at any moment I'm going to strike.
Right. Man, what I'm seeing out of this first-year wrestler right now is just insane. That I've rarely seen that kind of talent out of a first-year wrestler coming onto a varsity high school match in this kind of a weight category at 145s. And Hunter Robinson is just doing amazing. I know he's not traditional. I know that right now he's not catching stuff that he should be catching, and he's flipping over in situations where he might not normally. You wouldn't see your better wrestlers doing that, but right now I'm watching him ride legs like he's done this before, and I know for a fact he hasn't.
And you mentioned early on, and you see right there with this technique, kind of putting that lower half on top of the middle section of the torso, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like that right before the end of the back and before you get to the bottom part. But it controls a lot of the body right there as that back part.
Yes, and you can tell that he has a lot of talent that's going to be coming out by the end of this year. And like I said, it's not where you start, it's where you end up.
Right.
And right now, that is one of the most unexpected bright points that I've seen off this team because that's a brand new guy, never wrestled. I know he's done Taekwondo, which is another physical sport, but man, that right there is pure mental and physical talent coming out of that kid.
So we'll go back to the
young man. Sorry.
They're still kids technically.
Right.
They're not technically by legal standards adults, but anyway, 7-5 Marauders currently leading.
That's what I'm talking about. The inexperienced portion. but man, he keeps fighting.
Yeah, still fighting is Hunter Robinson, the freshman at the 145 weight class. But also on the side of Kingman, you know, got the lead back now. It's 7-9, and it shows on the side of Kingman. Again, we know that they're a little depleted, but the talent they have is pretty good.
And
still fighting.
I'm going to have to make a point to go and get involved with Hunter a little bit, because I just see some stuff that I think I can already work with on him.
Well, Hunter, if you are, well, I guess this would be in the future technically. If you're listening to the broadcast, Jared Tavasi would like to coach you.
Oh, yeah. I see some things that I think he's going to need a little bit of work with.
A lot of talent on this team, as you mentioned. And right there, Hunter Robinson and a lot of the other freshmen on this squad. That one will be out of bounds call, 11-10.
That's out of bounds, and it's a good thing for everybody that is out of bounds, because otherwise they could be giving up some near fall on that real easy. Thankfully, the gentleman from Kingman didn't switch his hips. If he would have switched his hips as he came out of bounds right there, instead of staying back to belly, if he would have switched his hips right there, that ref would have given him two. Those are the cheap points that you gain that you gain by experience. And recognizing mat position as you get older. That's what you'll see guys like Kai and Isaac being able to capitalize on is coming out of bounds right there.
Right.
He was back to belly on Hunter. Hunter pulled him on top of himself. If Kingman would have switched his hips right there.
Oh, great reverse.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That was fantastic. That was almost a guillotine. Guillotines in wrestling are different than guillotines in MMA.
I would assume so. Or in the early century version of guillotines.
Right. We're not quite that brutal.
We're not cutting heads off.
No revolutions going on right now.
Not yet.
Not against the Berjois.
No.
So, no, right now a guillotine in wrestling is where he'd have a leg in like he does right there.
Yes.
He'd go across the body, and he'd essentially get a headlock, and it feels like you're separating all of your ribs if somebody does it to you. And so it's a very brutal move. Man, Hunter's almost had it 3 or 4 times, and I think that's the end of the match, and we just ended up with a win right there.
Well, great victory. That was by points.
That is what I'm talking about. That is attrition. That is mental toughness, being able to just – you can see the physical
We will finish that point when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more wrestling on the way right here. Don't go anywhere on Verde Valley TV.
Rags Roofing, the roofing experts. A family-owned business with over 50 years of roofing experience. 3 generations specializing in all types of roofing: metal, tile, shingle, flat, roof coatings, and fascia metal. Rags Roofing, the roofing experts for residential and commercial roofs in the Verde Valley. Call 928-649-0537. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Mitch and Nate have you covered at Rags Roofing in Cottonwood.
2 things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
People often refer to Larry Green Chevrolet as the people place. Keeping that reputation is a priority in the community, and with every customer that comes through the door. Larry Green Chevrolet, we're better and we'll prove it. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, you'll find our selection extensive and the sales team professional and courteous. Visit Larry Green Chevrolet just off Highway 260 next to Walmart, or LarryGreenChevrolet.com.
It was a victory at the 145 weight class for Hunter Robinson as we shift our focus to 152. I'm Philip Katafo alongside state champion, former Mingus Marauder wrestler Jared Tavasi. We've been having a lot of fun up here. We're currently sitting up top on the visitor side of the gymnasium, or actually this would probably be the home side. So we're sitting on the home side of the gymnasium here at Mingus Union High School, wrestling on a Wednesday night. And a forfeit victory at the 152 weight class for the Marauders will shift now to 160. Again, just to clarify, if you have not been watching, you're just tuning in, Kingman does not have a full roster, which is very disheartening. But we've seen of the guys who are here and are able to wrestle, they've been doing a great job. We saw it in the previous match at the 145 weight class with Hunter Robinson and his opponent. And now we will get a match here at 160. Or is that 152?
It looks like 160s, I'm
160.
thinking.
That is Zoe Arwin, a senior. We saw him earlier. Did not get the victory in his match against Snowflake. But we'll see what the senior. Another guy, 1 year of experience up to the varsity level, 12, and he's a senior this year.
Ooh, brutal. Once again, that's an Iowa, a cow catcher. There's so many names for that move right there. But it doesn't matter what name they call it, it's effective and it works.
Looking for the pin is Kingman, and we'll see if they got it, and it looks like they did. So
that wrestler for Kingman wrapped it up solid, he threw it over his shoulder. He had that thing sunk so deep it was pretty hard to move on that setup.
And here we go to 170.
Yeah, we got
Tyler Griffin.
That's
right.
Here we go, Tyler. Let's get some redemption from your last match.
You know, it's funny. There was obviously Clay Griffin played football. I'm not entirely sure if Ryan did. He wasn't on the varsity team if he did. Tyler, excuse me. We had another Griffin named Ryan.
Oh,
who
right.
Myself and my partner Nick Yatsenko, for the longest time, we thought that they were brothers. Turns out they are not. It is Tyler and Clay, not Ryan and Clay. The two Griffins, both seniors, both spelled the last name exactly the same as if there's any other way to spell Griffin.
Beautiful takedown. That is what I'm looking for from anybody. That was absolutely fantastic takedown. Unfortunately, we're going to do a scramble out of a beautiful takedown, and he's about to get all twisted up with a barbed wire. Man, that was a beautiful takedown by Tyler Griffin. It was great technical. He transitioned head to hand, spin around, beautiful. We're 3-2 now because we once again have locking hands. Like I said, beginning of the year, everybody's a little bit sloppy. Everybody has to get back in the swing of things. Most of your bigger guys, they just got done playing football. And
this is the weight class that was struggling in the last duel.
Yes.
Against Snowflake.
Yes. Got to get his head up. Can't give up that cradle. There we go, Tyler. I think Tyler's going to develop a lot this year. I think that over the duration of the year, when we get to around regionals and state, I think you're going to see a whole different wrestler there. He's going to, dropping in on a single. That's what an athlete does. That was fantastic. Head on the inside single. That's the most dominant leg attack takedown. Now, if we can just figure out what to do with that, Tyler, we'll end up a lot farther along. We can't let somebody try and throw us off the mat like that with a headlock.
Sounds like Hunter Griffin and, Hunter Robinson and Tyler Griffin have found themselves a new coach as well with Jared Tavasi, or some help, some assistance.
Just a little bit of push.
6-3 is our score. 45-6 is our total score. The Marauders leading on both sides in this particular duel and in the match in total.
Now, who will end up coaching him? Those two right down there. You've got a couple of multiple-time state champions between Matt Chavez and David Wilbur right there, and they're going to be right in there. They're going to be getting right in the middle of Tyler's business, I guarantee it, and helping him out, because those guys they've already done it at those weight classes. They're big guys, they're smart guys, and they're continued successful wrestlers. Yeah. You can't ask for better coaches than them.
Well, it seems like Coach Mcken has got himself a solid staff up and down.
He does, and I have been trying so hard to cherry pick a couple of those guys to come help out with the junior high, but for some reason, I have not been very successful with the guilt trip. I need a little bit more guilt to be able to leverage on those guys, or maybe something along those lines.
Well, you can use this is your message right here.
I know.
Coach Mcken,
please,
need some help.
Please. I need some help for my big guys. You have two. I have
was
none.
borrow one, you know?
Yeah.
We get them on a Thursday at 3 o'clock. It's about as much time as they've got.
Oh, man.
6-3 is our score in this duel. 6-45 in the match in total. The Marauders, again, leading on both sides. This is the 170 weight class. That's Tyler Griffin in the Marauders red.
And we've had 2 beautiful takedowns by Tyler. Unfortunately, once he gets on top, he's been reversed a couple of times. And there we go again. He's having some difficulties on his top riding and letting some people get loose. When you let them get loose like that, they're able to throw weight around real easy.
And it'll go out of bounds, so we'll get another reset.
Now he's smart enough to be able to do that when he gets close to the edge of the mat, so he's not getting himself beat up very bad, because if he gets caught on his back on the mat instead of off the edge, then he's going to find himself in a bad situation. But Tyler's a smart wrestler and very, very athletic wrestler. Unfortunately, he needs to work on his top riding position a whole bunch. And he'll have that ability to work on that over the duration of the year.
Again, 6-5 is our score. Marauders leading 6 to Kingman's 5. The 170 weight class with Tyler Griffin.
Come on, Tyler. When you're on bottom right there and somebody's driving their shoulder in, and they've got wrist control on the far side. At that point it's all about the little battles. Right now, Tyler needs to start figuring out how to win the little battles so that he can start feeling good about being able to put the little battles together to win a big battle. First thing he needs to be doing is he needs to be establishing hand control. He's got an arm that's just hanging out there up there by his head doing nothing for him. His hips are all stretched out and his head's down. He needs to change his body language. He needs to get control of one of his opponent's hands. If he gets control of one of his opponent's hands, he can really not be held down. He needs to get his hips back up underneath him after he establishes hand control, and then he'll be able to wrestle. Right now, he's just being able to hang out and stall, and he's not accomplishing anything except for getting himself. He's working really hard to not score any points. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
That's what we have going on right now. We have somebody that's working really hard, but unable to generate points until he gets hand control.
I want to thank Gettles High Desert Mechanical State Farm agent Jennifer Griffin, #1 sandwich shop Clarkdale and Rags Roofing for sponsoring tonight's match. Of course, Gettles has a Luke Gettle, former wrestler here at Mingus.
Luke and Hank, two brothers, and Luke is the first and only 4-time state champion we've ever had at this school, and his brother Hank was a multiple-time state placer. And Luke is just, and he was able to go Division I, wrestled for Iowa State, and he's a phenomenal person. Luke is a class act.
6-7 now is our score. Kingman has found themselves up top. Of course, 45-6 is our match score, as the Marauders are leading 45 to Kingman 6. Still in the 170 weight
Tyler,
class.
He does a nice little peek out right there, and now he's going across, and he's good body position again. He needs to switch over to really get that. Tyler, popped your head out, man. Turn. Well, we got locking hands on that whole scenario.
Yeah, there it is, and they finally get the call.
Yep. Well, that's pretty lucky for Tyler. Unfortunately, he turned the wrong direction that last time. If you turn away from your opponent instead of turning back to face, it gives them the opportunity to chase. And when they chase, they're able to maintain position and keep score. That should have been another locking hands violation right there. Well, oh, my goodness. But I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen. I think Tyler is going to have to get his head up, and I want him to get the win on his own on this go around, not feel like the ref was in play. Tyler, turn, switch your hips, get your leg back. There we go. I think we're going to end up on our feet again going into overtime sudden death situation with takedown being able to win it, unless. Oh, that was beautiful. That was
doing
beautiful.
A great job.
That was
finding
dominant.
Himself up top.
Oh, yes. Get that half. Oh, we should have had a pin right there. That right there, that's what it's all about. He was able to generate a reversal right there in dominant position. Was able to go pretty much bottom to back by dominating those hips, finding a position that he was used to, which is a high cross switch off to a double. He was able to use that double leg position, bury his shoulder. Only thing Tyler didn't do is didn't end up switching off and going to the head. If he would have switched off, teed up, and gone to the head, he would have had a pin right there.
Well, nonetheless, Tyler Griffin coming up with a victory in the 170 weight class. And now we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the heavyweights on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Take that all day long.
If you want freedom and adventure, stop into one of Galpin Auto and RV's convenient locations. With a large inventory of both new and pre-owned autos and RVs, they have something for most every budget. You'll find a relaxed, no-hassle way of doing business in both Dewey and Cottonwood. Their knowledgeable staff will have you on your way to your next vacation in no time. Galpin Auto and RV in Dewey and Cottonwood, a name you can trust for over 30 years.
You dream it, they build it. A. Earls Construction is focused on your remodel dreams. Transform a TV room into a real entertainment area. Turn the mundane into incredible and add to the value of your home. Have the kitchen you need or the kitchen you've always dreamed of, both inside and out. A. Earls Construction can make your remodel ideas reality. When you're ready to make your house your home, count on A. Earls Construction. Licensed, bonded, insured, and experienced.
When you buy a vehicle at Hyundai of Cottonwood, you'll enjoy thousands of miles. With America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles, driving a Hyundai will give you peace of mind. Yes, there's something for everyone at Hyundai of Cottonwood on Rodeo Drive, above Larry Green Chevrolet and next to Walmart. Hyundai of Cottonwood. New thinking, new possibilities. A formula for happy drivers.
It was a victory in the 170 weight class for the Marauders as we head to the heavier weights here. It'll be a forfeit victory at 182 for Kingman, as the Marauders do not have a wrestler at 182, and I believe also at 195.
Right.
So back-to-back forfeit victories on the side of Kingman this time, as opposed to the Marauders getting the forfeit victory. So now we will see in the 220 weight class, we will see your guy.
Yeah, we're going to see Anthony Isless right here. He's going to go out there, and I think this is going to be an exciting match. Anthony was able to really position wrestle well on his last match, and unfortunately he got stuck underneath a big man and got stuck. But I look for good things out of Anthony. You know, when you're an underclassman and you're wrestling in your bigger weight classes, you're going to be competing with on a varsity level. He's putting himself there because he was a state placer in junior high. And so translating that into high school is going to be a little bit of a go. And there he goes, just taking it to him straight out the gate.
Immediately looking
nice
for that
headlock.
pin.
I think Anthony got fired up about getting pinned on his last go around. He doesn't like he does not like losing.
And he's looking to get the victory here, already up 2-0. Got the pin.
That's what I'm talking about, Anthony.
Anthony Isless.
You know, that's what I was talking about as far as your first match of the year. It's all these nerves, it's all this pressure, especially for a freshman coming out wrestling a big man in a big man area. Anthony just had to go out there, and he just went and wrestled his match, knew what he wanted, went out there and took what he wanted, and put a man on his back. Got the W, walking off there like a champ.
Well, Gronk will be looking to send the Marauders out with a victory, currently up 50-18.
Yes.
And looking to secure the rest of this match here in the final wrestling duel of the 220 weight class and of this match in total. Of course, Gronk was able to get the victory in his last match against Snowflake.
Yes.
And we'll see if he can do it again here.
See, one thing I like to see right now about Ryan is the fact that he isn't taking this man for granted, even though he doesn't look as physically impressive as Ryan does. Ryan Griffin is an absolute beast physically.
We call him Gronk for a reason.
Exactly. You look at him and you go, oh my dear goodness, if only I had that genetic makeup, you know? But
yeah,
realistically, you can find people of any body makeup and build that are very competitive.
Yeah.
And so when you realize that they all have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, generally, I mean, you have your anomalies like Anthony Robles who really overcome having 1 leg instead of 2.
Well, we had a guy, at least in my high school, we had a kid named Ezekiel Esquivel, and he was not necessarily the leanest kid, but he had the quickest feet in basketball I've ever seen, ever. I swear to God, Zeke had the fastest feet. And, again, he was not a lean-down guy. He was a rather big guy, played the wing. But, you know, right here, like you're saying, compared to Ryan, you know,
he's not.
But still, the talent is there.
And that's the thing is you'd never take somebody at face value. You learn to look past their physical and understand that they might have a skill set that you don't understand. And if you go out there thinking past that match, you can lose that match really quickly. I experienced that personally. When I was a junior in high school, I looked past a freshman, and that was after I had already won a state tournament. And I looked past him, and I ended up regretting that deeply because I ended up losing that match. But he's being smart. He's not taking anything for granted. He's establishing himself. He's using good control ties, and he's able to put himself in a dominant position to get the W.
It'll be a final victory for the Marauders. Gronk sending them away with a victory.
And well done. Well-deserved victory.
A fantastic duel for the Marauders.
Yes.
Their focus will now shift to next Wednesday.
Yes.
As we will be back here. Jared will be here. I'll be here. We're going to wrap things up here when we come back on the other side of this break. The Marauders beat Kingman. We'll be right back right after this to get you wrapped up.
Yep.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles and go Marauders.
Balancing your family, finances, and future is a lot of responsibility. Let Jennifer Griffin and her team at State Farm help. Jennifer Griffin is an Arizona native and a Mingus graduate as well. As a third-generation State Farm agent serving the Verde Valley in the same Cottonwood Main Street location for over 35 years. Jennifer Griffin offers all of State Farm Insurance's lines, specializing in auto, home, life, and small business policies. Jennifer Griffin and State Farm Insurance, here to help life go right.
If you haven't been to Number One Sandwich Shop in Clarkdale, stop in to see why they are number one. Their patented broaster chicken is a true one-of-a-kind pressure-fried roasted favorite. Always cooked fresh, allow 20 minutes to cook. Wings, pizzas, subs, burgers, and more. Don't forget the Thrifty Heart ice cream, 14 rotating flavors served in a cone, cup, shake, float, or a sundae. Located in Clarkdale at the Roundabout on 89A heading up to Jerome. Open daily from 11 to 7.
Want to welcome you back up top the bleachers here at Mingus Union Gymnasium. Philip Katafmo alongside state champion and former Mingus Marauder wrestler Jared Tavasi. A fantastic match for the Marauders on both sides, able to get the victory against Kingman to kind of make up for the loss against Snowflake, but nonetheless a fantastic match altogether for my first wrestling match.
You know, I took away a lot of good things from that second duel is the fact that you saw that people went out there with a will to win and a plan to execute, and they were able to execute their plans much better on their second go-around. They got the nerves out of the way. They realized, hey, you know what? My opponent has 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head as well. I can go out there with a plan, and I can succeed with it. And I saw our guys be able to do that very well for Mingus in the second half of that duel. I know not everybody won, but most of them were able to at least have a plan and execute it. And that you can't ask for much more at this stage in the season, especially from people who haven't wrestled for more than a couple of years. So I'm looking for good things. Realistically, every week you're going to see an improvement, and by regionals and states, what we're really looking at. State tournaments, what it's all about. So you got to win regionals. Once you win at regionals, then you're able to qualify for state. Once you qualify for state, that's where everybody sees what they did at the end of the year. And I think that they have a good place to start from, and that's the place where they're going to be going.
Well, you make a great point. It is a great place to start and a great match for the Marauders to get the season started, to get its season kicked off. And, well, they've still got a lot more wrestling to go. Next Wednesday, we'll be right here at the Mingus Marauder Gymnasium. We hope you join us here on Verde Valley TV. For Jared Tavasi, I'm Philip Katafmo, and for our producer, Ryan Nichols, and everybody here at Verde Valley TV, we want to wish you a great rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Wednesday.